confined is difficult. So, if I'm having a difficult time, right, then our student athletes that are 18 to 22-year-olds, you can only imagine, that's quite a challenge for them. And they've done a really, really good job about being disciplined, about doing those things right.
Welcome to Sikkim 365 Radio.
What a fake. Touchdown, Bears. Oh, boy, did RG3 sell that.
Sikkim 365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Downfield again. Could it be? Oh, my! Lanier Sampson! Unbelievable! RG3 does it again!
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
There's a drive to deep center. Grissom on the run at the wall. Home run. With a home run, and the American League is on the board. It's 2-1.
Have you downloaded the Sikkim 365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Many things to get to here today. Some changes, a couple of 2 or 3 different stories about changes, a couple of updates on the possibility of no sports or football in particular areas. And, yes, we have a couple of notes about Baylor and Baylor football as well. And I want to get into kind of more of the backstory on this random tweet on Friday night or whenever it was that Ole Miss and Baylor had agreed to cancel their game, which is not true. Now, will that game get canceled? There's a good chance it most likely will. But when you put something up that it has been agreed upon, when I can tell you for a fact that neither of the ADs have even brought up that game not being played. In fact, they've brought up options, but not the fact that the game won't be played. We'll have some backstory on that as well here momentarily. Craig Smoke, Paul Catalina, many stories to get to. Great news today for Terrell Bernard, named to the Bednarik Award watch list. He had a fantastic close to the season last year after he replaced what we thought was the irreplaceable Clay Johnston and played, of course, incredibly well. Let's get to a couple of things. First of all, the University of Texas has decided to take Joe Jamel Field and turn it into Campbell Williams Field, or however they're going to say it. I just got off the phone, as you guys know, with Earl Campbell. He'll join us today or tomorrow at this time, about 3:15 or so tomorrow. They're also they're going to put up a couple of statues. They're going to rename a couple of other things, shift some things around. They're going to have some various committees. They're going to keep the Eyes of Texas as the school song. I think that would have been a battle that would never have ended. And so is this symbolic? Is this
progress?
Material? Is it progress?
I mean, it's symbolic until, things change with systemic racism. I mean, it's nice that they're doing it. Like, everything they're doing is good. Nobody deserves to have things named after him more than Earl Campbell. Heck, I'd name this house after him he's a fantastic human being and he's told us his story many, many times of what's going on. And he's a person who's an example for many people in how to deal with racism and rise above it. So it's all good. But again, where does it just like, oh, hey, well, we put up some statues, we rename the thing, and we're going to tell people about the origin, when they come for freshman orientation, we'll teach them about the origins of the Eyes of Texas. Well, what does that change in our world other than right there in those immediate couple
Well,
things.
just like this changing the name Redskins, are we now a less racist country?
No.
No, we're not. But that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And yes, as I said a couple of different times, that will lead to the next team and to the next team until the fact eventually we're just going to call them Dallas or Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, on the UT stuff, I mean, they, did at least think through this process. I mean, that happened, a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. It's kind of a blur now, with this year, the way that it's been when things actually occurred. But, kudos to those UT athletes for creating change. I have a different point of view. I'm not sure how many people even knew what Joe Jamail Field was or knew anything about Joe Jamail, but for those that it bothered, I guess, they feel better now that it's going to be Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams Field, the two only Heisman winners in UT history. So, it's what it is. I find it funny, though, that the Eyes of Texas stays. Like, that's the line that they wouldn't cross. They're like, that's where this whole thing started practically as well, was with that song.
I think that was something they would never give up.
Yeah, and so I find it interesting that was basically the launching point for this entire list of demands from the student athletes, and that's the one thing, the starting point is the one thing they won't change. So I don't know if that goes away now or, if that continues to be an issue, but the UT athletes seem to be happy with all these changes today. I'm with you, and I said to you before the show, I said I need to apologize because – we're saying when you were talking about the names, like, where does it stop? And I actually was stupid enough to give people the benefit of the doubt and not realize just how many people out there, pretty much dedicate their entire lives to being offended. There are certainly things that need to be changed, like the Redskins. But today, for example, you were asking, like, where does it stop? And I was like, well, the Indians is obviously up next and Redskins. And, and after that, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine where they would go. I mean, there's not really too many racist things out there, I wouldn't think, that come to mind. But leave it to the Washington Post, and I know people roll their eyes automatically when I say that, but had a woman today write about how the Texas Rangers need to change their name because, years and years and years ago, they killed Indians and they massacred Indians. What they also did was they protected people from Indians, and they protected people from very evil Indians like the Comanches, and they did a lot of that, but that all gets thrown to the side so that we can just focus on the one negative aspect of them, not the fact that they're still around, still protecting people in the state of Texas today. Know what they did on those bad occasions 100 years ago is what we're going to focus on instead. If I'm the Rangers, I throw them a middle finger and I say, no, we're not changing, but that is the latest. And, that led to some people saying sarcastically, but hey, if we're going to go this way, let's go this way. Pirates, get rid of them. Pirates murdered people. You know what? Pirates of the Caribbean franchise? Get rid of it.
What did Vikings do?
Vikings gone.
Yeah, Saints, they're not all pure.
No, they're gone too. Religious persecution. Bye. See you later.
Have the Irish ever been racist about it?
Of course.
Yeah.
So
Cowboys. Yeah. I'm sure we can find a racist thing there.
Well, the Cowboys and Indians, they killed Indians.
So,
Indians killed them.
Let's get rid of that too.
My sister was attacked by a bird outside Seahawks.
Cardinals, Seahawks, Ravens, Falcons.
We're not making light of it. But we're just saying that this could never end. Okay. This is something that has gotten to a point where that it's like a tumbleweed in West Texas. It will just continue to roll and roll and roll.
Okay, if you want to get mad about government institutions that still exist that have racist histories, that's 100% of the government institutions that were around when we founded this country, because we allowed slavery when the country was founded, and we allowed these things. All right, you want to get mad at the Texas Rangers that killed Indians? All right, guess what? Guess who else did? The U.S. Army.
Well, there would be people in favor of getting rid of them as well. You know?
But I mean, so like
we have a note about the Army-Navy game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, so
right, here's the point: they're going to change the football stadium. Earl Campbell will join us tomorrow at this time. So that's just one story today. But UT, are the football players who demanded
they're happy. They're
the Eyes of Texas song change.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen those comments yet because I haven't really dug through every comment that's been retweeted by Clarence Hill or whoever else that comes across my timeline. I don't follow Clarence, but I just see his. I seem to see his tweets a lot. So I haven't seen any of that reaction just yet. I've just seen a lot of UT players who are proud that they took a stand and they made a change. And good for them. They did. They proved that change can come. And if you go about it, the right way with good intentions, you can cause change. I think you can cause unnecessary change as well, but I don't think there's really anything unnecessary in with what's going on with their demands. I will be interested, though, to hear their thoughts on the eyes of Texas remaining as is. But, yeah, I mean, I think the basic point that we're talking about is, with me saying I apologize is, where does it end now? Because, Buccaneers, that's another one. That's got to go as well because that's a Pirate as well. So, where does it stop until we're just completely neutered and we're afraid to say anything? And I know that's a bit extreme, but I really don't think the direction that we're going, it's all that extreme.
Caden Stearns said, a great day to be a Longhorn. Want to thank the students, athletes, administration, alumni, and those behind the scenes working who made this happen. Looking forward to more positive change on campus. So that's today. Also tonight, there's going to be an open forum on race relations in, Baylor University is going to have a virtual open forum with Colin Allred, among others, including Dr. Livingstone and others that are a part of that. That is tonight. Meanwhile, let's get to this Baylor Ole Miss story. And there's a lot more to get to. Baylor hired Joshua Atkinson. He'd been at Tulsa, played at Tulsa. He's from a private school in Arlington. He's now a part of their staff as the assistant wide receivers coach.
Yeah, and I actually, because of, speaking of Earl Campbell, who I'm very thrilled for, by the way, I didn't mention that, but I am happy for Earl that he's getting that honor. It took them forever to really honor him. He got that statue a few years back, but being part of the Earl Campbell Award, which highlights the best offensive skill players in the state of Texas each year, Josh Atkinson a few years ago was on that list quite often as far as like the weekly honorable mentions and things like that, because he was in that Philip Montgomery offense. And he was there like right at the time that Phil started to kind of have that early success. And so he thrived and had a couple 1,000+ yard seasons his last 2 years. Guess he stuck around Tulsa afterwards and was an assistant there. And so he's got kind of a Baylor connection in a roundabout way, obviously working with some former assistant coaches there with Montgomery and the others. So, he was a really good player, and just getting his coaching career kind of revved up a little bit, making the leap up to the Power 5. So congratulations to him.
By the way, the Earl Campbell Field has been on the stadium, which is Rose Stadium in Tyler, since 2006. That happened, and I'm not here to beat a drum or to pat myself on the back. That happened after what was nearly an hour and a half, unedited, raw interview that I did with Earl at his home when he was in Westlake. And he said this, and I'm going to put this up a little bit in a minute on Twitter. I've told my family, because Tyler had not honored him for anything. Nothing. There was no big, huge billboard outside the city like there is in Sealy with Eric Dickerson or elsewhere. And I asked him, I said, why? And he then said to me, I've told my family, and he never said this publicly. He only said it when I asked him. I've told my family, which none of them ever made that big of a deal out of it. They just stayed private, that I do not want anything honored in my name if I'm not around to be a part of it. And that hit David Simmons, the superintendent at Tyler Independent School District, like a ton of bricks. And then they eventually moved on. He called me that afternoon. There was a long recorded interview and said, we're going to change up. We're doing this.
Well, you know what's strange about that to me is, and not to knock Tyler, but you have a Heisman Trophy winner, an NFL Hall of Famer, one of the greatest running backs of all time, who's also a great human being. Why would you not want people to know that about your town?
It's just I don't know. It's just one of those. It was Rose Stadium, and now it was Trinity Mother Francis Rose Stadium. It's Earl Campbell Field at whatever it now is, St. Christophus or whatever they call it. I can't name the health system. Now, Baylor Ole Miss. Friday night, a young man who is an Ole Miss fan and has worked in some television somewhere, put out that the game between Baylor and Ole Miss had been canceled, that the two ADs had agreed to cancel the game. That is not true. The game may not be played. There's a good chance that the game may not be played, and it may not be the decision of Baylor and or Ole Miss. It might be the Big 12 or the SEC, or it might be, by the way, there's no football at all. I can tell you right now that Baylor and Ole Miss have not once discussed the game not being played between them making that decision. And, in fact, there has actually been some options on the table in case they cannot play in what is the incubation bed in Houston. So I'll tell you that right now. There's no Mac Rhodes this week. I mean, he's supposed to be kind of on occasion. He just it's never ended for
Hell,
him.
I'm
So he
burnt.
won't be around tomorrow.
I'm burnt out. I can't imagine what he feels like.
So I do know this. They have discussed this as far as the game. Now, again, the Big 12 or the SEC might make that change for them. But it's not something that either AD has brought up, discussed at all in not playing the game between the two schools. And so that's one thing there. And so, yeah, like in 3 days, if that comes out because the SEC or the Big 12 decide not to play non-conference games, that report is still not correct. And so a guy tweets back at me like, wouldn't it be prefer?
At me next time.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell are you? And I'm not saying who the hell am I. I know for a fact that is true. Tonight, that game could be canceled, but it was not and has not been discussed by the two ADs at Baylor and or at Ole Miss.
You know, I'll just say there's a reason why the guy who reported that, look, I'm not trying to get too personal, but he tried to get a little, backlash going, but there's a reason why he seems to have just worked at a lot of places and isn't like an Ole Miss reporter. This guy who broke the story, and then he got all sensitive because his information turned out to not be exactly what it was as he stated, and so he's saying at me, which is what all the fake tough guys say on social media, and that was enough for me to kind of figure this guy out. But for people that go, well, it's going to get canceled anyway, so what does it matter? It's reporting facts.
Yeah,
it's not guessing and saying like what is probably going to happen. It's what's happened, and so he was false.
It's like me saying there will not be a college football season.
Breaking.
And then at some point in maybe July this month or early in August, they cancel football. That doesn't mean I'm right because I don't have facts to say that. I can have an opinion about that. He could have said, I don't think Baylor and Ole Miss are going to play. I just get that feeling. All right. But that's not what the report was.
Come out and said it's been canceled is reckless.
So I do know for a fact I spoke personally with Mack Rhodes twice over the weekend. And that is, that game, if it's announced tonight, it's not because this guy was right on Friday. He just took a shot in the dark. And then to tell me, you need to talk to the ADs. I do that every week. Every freaking week. And then sometimes 5 or 6 times in a week. All right, so that's that. Also, Iowa State AD Jamie Pollard. Isaiah Austin, by the way, joins us at 3:30. We'll have RG3 at 5 in between. Robinson High coach Robert Rubel and Bosqueville's Clint Zander. And also today, Chris Arnold, Hall of Fame radio broadcaster with 105.3 The Fan on the NBA, the Mavericks, and much more. He'll join us today at 4 o'clock. Jamie Pollard says if there's no fall sports, it was a really neat, I read the whole letter. He sent to his alums, boosters, whoever. Students maybe will lose $40 million, the athletic department, if no fall sports. And since COVID, through August the 23rd, the university's revenue losses, not just the athletic department, could be up to $73 million. He wrote an amazing letter. You need to read it if you have it. I'm not telling you to. It's something that would make sense for those of you, no matter who you are, as far as whether you think they should play or not. He writes what I thought was a very well-written letter to whoever wants to read it, including his fan base, about why they want to play, but not at the cost of the health of the athletes. But it's very well done. Very, very well done. The AD at Navy says they're intent on playing the game, if at all possible, in December. That's the first weekend in usually the
Why
second
are they
weekend
putting
in
people's lives at risk by potentially playing a game in 6 months?
Yeah, I know.
Somebody somewhere on social media.
So that's
Good.
that.
There's no reason to cancel it right now.
Former USC quarterback JT Daniels has gotten a waiver to play immediately at Georgia.
How? Why is he getting a waiver?
I have no idea.
And he said in his tweet, like, I'm not going to talk about the waiver.
Yeah.
And like, this is what's his face that we've already forgotten about that busted. Oh, Tate Martell. Big do-nothing in college football, despite all that hype, that mysteriously got the waiver as well.
Well, he suffered a knee injury to start last season.
But that's not why you get automatic playing time normally,
maybe
right?
Maybe, I don't know. So that's that. NJCAA, J.B. Brown will join us. Played at Midway. He's at Navarro. What are his options? What's going to happen to the sophomores in junior college?
Oh,
do they play in the spring? What if they were going to sign in December and enroll on campus in January?
Well, the JUCOs have already announced they're moving back, right?
Right.
So they're going to, air quotes, play in the spring. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me how they know there's going to be, enough clear air and lack of cases in the spring. No one can answer that, but yet we're all barreling full ahead like, oh, we'll just do it all in the spring.
Yep.
Can you prove that it's going to be any different in the spring? So I think the JUCOs are absolutely screwed here. The JUCOs can't really play a fall football season because they have no way of doing all the testing that's going to be required. They also have to travel a pretty far ways. I mean, like every game for what like a Navarro is like 2 hours to Tyler or an hour to hour and a half to, or whatever it is. So, I mean, there's still some traveling that would needed to take place, and those are the closer teams that they actually play. So, JUCO, I just don't see any way possible. None of those schools can afford the testing that would be required. If schools like Baylor and Texas and A&M and whoever else is struggling financially, not struggling, but like hurting more financially because of all this is taking, there's no way Blinn and TJC and those schools can do it. And I think they're one of their problems they're going to run into in the spring is if I'm a player on TJC's roster, for example, I'm not waiting around when I could go transfer to Baylor and just yeah, I know. Yeah. So what I'm saying is they're not even going to have full teams in some cases if that's the case. Yeah, they don't have 100-man rosters.
They can't afford it, and now they might lose. Let's say there's 50, 60 guys on scholarship. I don't know how many are there in junior college, probably 65 or so.
Blinn probably signs 15 to D1s. So, and then the academic, I don't know. That's going to be a mess.
So the Redskins are kind of in a predicament here. They've announced they're going to retire the name. Well, they're not retiring the name. The social changes in this country retired the name. They've been trying to do it for a long, long time. By the way, I saw somebody put up, Daniel Snyder had a quote 8, 9, 10, 12 years ago, we will not change the name. And it's kind of like how they try to put up a quote about a politician who said something 7, 8, 9 years ago, or an athlete or a sportscaster, or just a human being that works at Walmart. They're retiring the name. The problem is this Red Wolves and other names that have been discussed now since the middle of June, someone has put out
they're called
a lock.
They're called squatters.
Yeah, and so Red Wolves, Tribe, Red Tails, Monuments, Veterans, Renegades, Braves, Red Tails, Freedom Fighters, Warhogs, Potomacs. I like that one. Justice, that's one of those without an S. Mm-hmm. The Almond Blossom Roasted Nuts. You get the point. They're going to have to pay somebody now to get a name.
Yeah.
Because if somebody locks up that name, they own the right to the name, correct?
Yeah.
By the way, Arkansas State, they're the Red Wolves. You guys told me you didn't think of anybody that you knew.
I said Arkansas State.
Oh, you did? Okay. Because we just had Coach Anderson on, Blake Anderson.
But I mean, there's plenty of names like that college and pro teams share. The squatter guy, though, who, I mean, I guess this is how he makes his living, and he's got the money to, throw down $20,000 on trademarking names that might not ever be used. I mean, I don't know that the Washington Freedom Fighters is going to be a name that's used, so that was a waste of money. But I had not seen initially that he had Red Wolves claimed already, so that was a name I was actually in favor of. And maybe there's a way. Is there a way, Paul, to prove that somebody's not using the actual trademarks that they own?
No, I mean, basically what they do is you get lawyers involved, and the lawyers argue this out. And
he pays $20,000. Is that right?
But it's like a one-time fee, and he's just going to sit on it.
He'll get $1 million from the Redskins, or $5 million, or $100,000, or
more than that. Yeah. So I would think that. One name that he already has registered, Daniel Snyder, is the Washington Warriors, which he owns the trademark for.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's already a name, Golden State Warriors, and other. I don't want a name that's already been used as just a fan of that.
Here we go. If we really want to point out like every misstep of people historically and paint them with the brushes of today, we could argue why the Washington name should go away. Even though he's our first, like some people could.
No, you're right.
And so I saw somebody creative say, "What about DC Red Wolves?
How come it's not the Cowgirls? How come the Cowboys don't take heat because they're not the Cowgirls?
I mean, that's
that's where we're going.
But that's kind of ridiculous. But
some of this is ridiculous.
No, I understand that. I'm the one that started talking about it. But what I'm saying is maybe they change the name to the DC Red Wolves as opposed to the Washington Red Wolves. That would get around his trademark. If that's the name they're so intent, but I know there would also have to be some dealings with Arkansas State, so just come up with a name that's not trademarked.
Pat Mahomes received the highest rating on Madden 21, a 99. Mahomes was a 97 on the Madden 20. Let's see here. So he's a 99. Russell Wilson, 97. Lamar Jackson, 94. Dak Prescott's an 84. He's among the top 10. So it's Mahomes, Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Brees, Brady, Rodgers, Ryan, Deshaun Watson, Prescott, and Wentz. That takes care of most of them.
Played that game in years. That's cool though. Good for Patrick. There's a crowd of people that get worked up for it every year and they love it. I don't care. I haven't played the franchise in years, but that's cool for those guys.
Astros are going to travel to Kansas City next week and have 2 exhibition games with the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. 2 night game. Well, 1 night game, 1 afternoon game.
Yeah,
baseball tries to get.
That'll be a nice test run.
Yeah, it will be. All right. So those are some of the things going on. I don't know what's going to the Redskins name. It's just it is to the point where, again, okay, let's pick this team off. Now who do we focus on? Because that's where we are. It's kind of like snipers. And some of them make sense, and some of them are just so you can bitch about something, right? Isaiah Austin today, RG3 at 5 today. Also looking forward to hearing from J.B. Brown because he's at Navarro College, a former Midway linebacker. And so what are his options? I spoke with him very, very, very briefly today. I don't even know if he knows what the options might be. Good to hear from a lot of you already on the text line. Carl Campbell's already chimed in. Giving us a nice little feedback. Leon, thank you for your feedback. Jenny, Damon Sales is on. And Brian Etheridge, the fiery at David Smoke is the best. I don't know about that. There's some things that just get to the point now where it's just, God almighty.
I was all for the Redskins name change, and the Rangers one today, I was just like, okay, like, yeah, here we go. Because we, like I said, we could really just start Pirates gone, Buccaneers gone, Saints gone, and we could go on and on and on with it until, we're starting to get offended by animals and, bears killed people like 3 times a year in Yellowstone. Let's get rid of the Chicago. And that sounds ridiculous, guys. But it really doesn't sound all that ridiculous if you look at the grand scope of things.
Here's something. The Warriors, an interesting name, Golden State, Hawaii. But in the 90s, Marquette's basketball program or the school dumped the nickname because they felt it was potentially offensive to Native Americans.
Yep.
See, that's where you can just never find an end. So let's just call them, it's Dallas versus Washington. Kansas City against St. Louis. Well, it wouldn't be football anymore. It's 3:26 coming up next. Isaiah Austin most recently played on that Heartfire team that was in the tournament. As that tournament continues, his thoughts, and will he ever get a legitimate chance to play in the NBA? Former Baylor star. He's got a story to tell. Isaiah Austin next on Sikkim 365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. The deals continue to roll on, and their showroom continues to be nice and clean. If you want to go into the showroom and take a look at all their offerings, well, they disinfect it daily, but they've got great pricing. That's the first thing that you'll notice. Employee pricing for everyone at Richard Carr. You pay what employees pay all month long. Qualified buyers right now could save over $7,000 on 2020 Acadias or Yukons, or save over $6,000 on the GMC Terrain. They've also got the Buick Encores, the perfect crossover SUV with a quiet ride, a roomy interior, and man, it's packed with safety features and the latest technology. Right now, get a Buick Encore for only $19,900. It's a savings of $6,000 on a 2020 Buick Encore. They've also got the line of Cadillacs to check out. You can get a Cadillac XT4 right now for only $35,900 at Richard Carr Cadillac. These deals and much more. And not only do they have the great prices, but when you purchase a car from Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, you get free oil changes with the new purchase, plus in-town priority warranty service. And that's how they do it. That's how they treat their customers. It's all about the customer, because Richard Carr Motors is the people that you can count on. A local family dealer run by Baylor alumni. They want the chance to earn your business. So once again, stop by that daily disinfected showroom and see their safety-focused staff. Or if that's still not enough for you, you're feeling a little uneasy about that, they can bring the test drive to your home. Your comfort and safety is Richard Carr's first priority. Find them at Richard Carr, KARR.com, or Highway 6, the Imperial exit.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now, and Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday, pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasoning, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
Isaiah Charles Austin, former Baylor star, and of course has been around the world playing basketball, most recently in the tournament, along with former Baylor players as well. Isaiah Austin joins us now on Sikkim 365 Radio with Paul Craig, and I'm David Smoke. Isaiah, thank you very much. How disappointing was it you didn't get more, I guess, traction in that tournament? You guys had the lead. It didn't work out. How frustrating was that?
It was pretty frustrating as a whole because we knew that, you know, we basically had the game won. We just ran out of steam and kind of went cold towards the end. But overall, it was a great and fun experience. And, you know, I'm excited to play in it again next season.
What's your basketball journey been like now that that you're back playing for a couple years now, China, everywhere you've been? How much better a player are you, and what have you learned?
I think I'm finally becoming an elite basketball player just because I've, you know, had to adapt to different situations in my career, whether that be playing overseas or somewhere here in the States in open gym. So I'm just learning myself and learning my game and just staying in tune. And I'm starting to finally become I feel like a serious threat on the court every time I step on there.
Isaiah, Have you given up your dream to play in the NBA?
Yeah, I've basically given up on that. I'm not trying to have something just lingering around in my mind for so long, and I know that it's something that's just not going to come true. So, I've been focusing myself on, playing overseas and focusing my energy on what's in front of me.
But you played really well in that game, even though you guys blew a gasket down the stretch, as you mentioned. You played well. Your game, is it as good as it's ever been, in your opinion?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I was a little bit out of shape in that game. I hadn't played 5-on-5 basketball in a while. And, just due to COVID and everything, it's kind of hard for me to get into a gym as much as I would have liked to be in a gym before playing in a high profile tournament like that. But I really think that I'm finally become a full and whole basketball player.
What was missing from your game when you started this journey that you've added now?
Definitely some maturity and a little bit of patience. I feel like I was just lacking a lot of patience when I used to play, and now I kind of let the game come to me a lot more, and just things like that. And then, just being more mature, being coachable, becoming coachable, and then, being able to accept criticism in a positive manner and not taking it as offense.
Isaiah, we're obviously in a very interesting and in some cases tumultuous time right now in this country. Having traveled the world now, having seen how how life works in other places, has it brought any new observations to you? Has it made you realize maybe one thing or another about life in America? Is there anything that you've gleaned from the international events that you've been a part of?
Yeah, we're very privileged in America. A lot of the countries I've been to, it's not as advanced as America is. Especially I was in Beirut, Lebanon this past season, and you just take it into perspective, we have it really tailor-made for us here in America. But other than that, I've just been experiencing other cultures, and, I actually love it, being able to experience all different sides of the world and being able to interact with different people.
It's interesting that you get to travel around the world to do what you love to do, which is play basketball, but you're much smarter than just being a basketball player. How much do you think you've been able to help other people you've touched in various countries about what you've experienced in life?
I think I've been able to help quite a few people. I still actually keep in touch with a lot of my old teammates and coaches that I played for in the past years. And, they always tell me, that, when they're seeing rough times, they always look to my story and look to me as inspiration for them to keep pushing and moving one foot in front of the other each day. So, I'm very blessed to be in this position that I am. And, I hope to one day even be able to help people and inspire people even more on a larger scale with my story.
Why did you not decide, all right, that's it, I've got to go in a different direction, because there are a lot of things that have happened to you between, your eye and Marfan syndrome and all these things. Isaiah, you've never really lost that, no, I'm going to play basketball, I'm going to do this, I'm going to achieve my dream. What made you not stop?
Just a lot of prayer. I had to spend a lot of time by myself, and I, did a lot of talking with God and, asking him for signs. And, eventually they all led back to me being able to play basketball again. And I feel like ultimately that was his plan for me. But at the same time, he's changed me as a person. He's changed me as an individual. And, I've become, I feel like, a better man because of everything that he's put me through. So, I think that's what really just kept me going, is just building that relationship with God. And, I think that he just wanted me to reconnect with him on a different level. And, he showed me his grace and he brought the game back to me.
I told everybody, Isaiah's 26 years old. He's much older than 26. He was
still 26.
Even back in the day, and still very young as well. All right, so I need to know about the pies that you're, is it Ben that bakes pies? Is that?
Oh, man, yeah. So rumor has it that my dad has the best sweet potato pies probably in the country. I'm very lucky to be able to call him and request one whenever I can. But if you ask Coach Drew's definitely going to tell you that my dad has the best pies that he's ever had.
So,
for sure.
So what's the best? What's the go-to? If you said, look, I can only have one of these, what's the go-to?
Yeah, my dad's sweet potato pie every time.
There we go.
Either that or his peach cobbler, one or the other.
Man.
Peach cobbler sounds good too.
That just makes like that. I just want to slam my face into one of those right there. Now, was there a time, Isaiah, because everything came at you so fast that you experienced life very quickly with what you had to deal with Marfan and also with your eyesight? Was there a time when you were kind of almost like the attention was too much, even though you could share something to help other people? Was there a time you felt like, golly, I just want to live my life?
Yeah, I would definitely say, around the time where I found out that I was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome, just because it was just such devastating news to me. I wanted to mourn the way I wanted to mourn, but instead I had to put myself on that pedestal and stand in front of people and put a smile on my face and, share my story because I knew that it would touch people around the world. I just feel like during that time, though, I wasn't allowed to mourn how I wanted to because I was, on the go. I was writing my book and I was doing, interview after interview. I was on Good Morning America and everything like that. And I just feel like I was a little bit overwhelmed at one point, but I feel like at the same time it was just God calling me to do my duty and share my testimony with people, and that's what I basically did.
You have said and you have discussed God in almost every answer you've had, whether it's basketball, whether it's your health, whether it's who you are as a person. How important was it then that you were able to be at Baylor, where they allow you to express your religion?
At the end of the day, that was the most important factor for me. Just growing up, how my parents brought me up, and just being around the different type of community and people that I was in. It all circled around Jesus, and just for me to know that I can go to Baylor University and be able to profess my faith openly without people judging me, without people looking at me, with a side eye. I just felt super, super comfortable and at home in Waco. So. That was one of the main reasons, and it was super close to home why I ended up deciding to go to Baylor.
So what's next? I know you're still where are you? You're on, was it Mets de Guaynabo? Well, I can't say the name of your team. Help me out with that.
Guaynabo, yeah.
Guaynabo.
I played for the Guaynabo Mets in Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
But unfortunately, because of COVID, my season was shut down. So I've really just, been at home just preparing for whatever comes next in my life. I actually just finished school like 3 days ago. So I'll be able to graduate and walk across the stage at Baylor in this August.
Yeah, I saw a note about that. They're trying to do that, whether it's going to be across the stage. I think they're also looking at the option. It might be virtual as well.
They've announced virtual today.
Yeah. What did that – I saw where Coach Drew sent something out to you about that. What does that mean that you came back and you did you earned your degree?
It means everything, especially to my mother. She's asked me ever since I was in high school, to no matter what happens with basketball. At that time, I was projected to be a first-round lottery pick, right out of my freshman year, and I decided to come back. But she told me, no matter what I do, just promise her that I'll go back and get my degree, just so I can be that, kind of like superhero to my little brother and sister. Even though they're already on track, they were on track to graduate before me. But because of COVID, I was able to find some time to really sit back and actually take some classes, the last little classes that I need to finish my degree.
What's the degree in?
I got it in health, kinesiology, and leisure services.
Health kinesiology. I took kinesiology and I took physiology in college at Stephen F. Austin. That was I loved them. I loved those classes. I really did. That's the study of the body, right? And bones, muscles, things like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I really did. That was one of my favorite classes that I took when I was in college at Stephen F. Austin. Isaiah, so the tournament's over. Your other team right now, obviously, with COVID, is shut down. Do you sometimes look at where you've been, even though you think and you've said how fortunate you are? It's like every year you're having to play somewhere differently. Is that frustrating, or is that more of a great experience and journey?
It can be a little bit of both, just because overseas basketball, it isn't as reliable as, playing in the NBA. It's far less reliable, actually. It's a privilege to go over there and to get your full paycheck from teams, some seasons. It depends on where you go or where you're at in the world. But for the most part, it's just been an experience. So I would just say it's a little bit of both. At the same time, I do appreciate being able to see the whole world because, all because of basketball. So I'm very grateful for that.
We're grateful for having you on the show, young man. And I always remember you were one of our guest speakers for the Academic All-Stars program. We'll always remember how you did that, how much you appreciated you doing that. Thanks for your time, and God bless.
Congrats on the degree, too.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Man, it's good to hear from you, Isaiah Austin, former Baylor star, and also he's been everywhere. And I hated the fact that when that tournament got shut down, because they were pretty good, but he admitted it, and so some of the guys that probably were not in the best of condition for that. And at the end of the game, they just couldn't score. They were out of gas.
I watched a good chunk of it this weekend.
The tournament?
Yeah.
I watched their game, the Heartfire. Of course, Homer Drew coached the team. And, man, but how about the sweet potato pie?
Yeah.
I got that note from Jerome Tang. Coach Tang helped me with that one.
That's awesome. You can tell just how much that staff and their players are family. I mean, he's been gone for a few years now, but not really. They've been there to support him, and I'm sure he's been there to support them at times as well. I just think that, not trying to be like some super homer or anything, but I just feel like, every person we hear coming out of the program has those same types of sentiments.
I'll tell you this. There's been a couple guys that have transferred away.
Which is it happens, yeah.
And a couple of them had helicopter parents, and this guy should be doing this and that. And outside of Al Freeman leaving and having a good year at NC State, everybody who's transferred away, they weren't Deuce Bello, LJ Rose, they weren't that good to begin with. So to me, if you can't play for Scott Drew, I don't know who you can play for.
Right.
Like I don't know where you're going to get it to where, and that's not just me because I love the guy and he's great. It's kind of obvious when you look at it, and I'm sure there's a lot of coaches just like that where you just say, if you can't play for this guy, you're not really going to get along that well in the rest of your endeavors.
Right, and they're clearly a program that when they talk about, developing and family atmosphere and educating and listen and doing all those things, it's clear that they do. And I know there's other staffs out there that are like that, other programs that are like that as well, but it's a family. I mean, through and through, it truly is. That's why so many guys come back all the time, Pierre or Isaiah or whoever you want to mention. I mean, pretty much all those guys come back on a regular basis. The one part about that interview, and Isaiah was great, and it was great to hear from him, I just hate that I had to kind of spoil that he will not be walking that stage in August.
Yeah.
And I hate that's how he had to learn that news because I can only imagine how much, graduates are anticipating being able to do that, their final moment before it's all official and done. And I realize you still get the degree, and it's still all the same, really. You're just not walking that stage. But, that's the cherry on top of the years that you invested. And kudos to him for coming back and getting it so quickly after his college time wrapped up. We hear the stories about guys like Shaq. Now, granted, Shaq was thrust into the NBA and played for 20 years or whatever. So he may not have as much free time, but Isaiah went and knocked it out, got it done, got it over with, and he's only 26. So kudos to him on that. But, yes, Baylor did announce today that they are canceling their in-person ceremony next month. That was supposed to encompass, if you'll remember, not only the August graduates, but the May graduates as well, because they had to cancel that originally due to COVID-19. So that was to encompass everybody. So now, instead of an in-person ceremony on the 14th and 15th of August, virtual ceremony August 15th on Facebook Live.
All right, that's too bad because they were trying to push it back as much as they could, but now you don't get to walk across the stage. Coming up next, He doesn't know what he's going to do next. J.B. Brown, former Midway linebacker at Navarro College, they're shutting down football till the spring. What is next for him? That's next on Sikkim 365 Radio. Yep, Brian Etheridge yet again. He needs to be the one doing the endorsements for Waco Custom Marketplace, although Craig and I had a couple of really nice steaks over the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace can deliver the best when it comes to product, when it comes to what you want with their butcher shop, their meat market, seafood, poultry, pork, and beef. Brian Etheridge has now been down to Waco from Dallas like 3 or 4 times in the last month to come get product for him to put on the grill, the smoker, everything else in between. And it's catching on because so many people go, my God, I got to make a trip. You can go online, WacoCustomMarketplace.com. They're open every day, open on Saturdays, late morning, mid-morning to early afternoon, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco. They have a bakery, fresh baked bread every day, kolaches every day, pies, speaking of pies, and cakes and more every day. And what you can do is walk in and also get your necessities you need that you would like, maybe at an old-fashioned grocery store, from seasonings and sauces, pasta, bread, crackers, chips. You want it? They have a big, huge, large contingent of cold beer and soft drinks, even milk if you want, and eggs. It's Waco Custom Marketplace, but I'm telling you right now, their butcher shop will always deliver with fantastic product at 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Summertime means vacation time, and while this summer may be different, at Allen Samuels, you can always count on our huge summer clearance event. It's on. Brand spanking new 2020 Ram Lone Star Crew Cabs. Now 0% financing for 72 and no payments for 90 days. Or choose up to $10,250 in total values. America's most loyal half-ton pickup owners are Ram owners. It's time to say goodbye. Adios, 2020s from Allen Samuels. Ask for details.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
We're fighting hard at Pickup Outfitters in our battle to end truck nudity. But it's not just about putting an outfit on a naked truck, it's about making sure you have the very best customer service. So we offer the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. Over time, sometimes your outfit needs a little tune-up, maybe some tightening, adjusting, whatever. If you outfitted your truck at Pickup Outfitters, that tune-up is absolutely no charge for the remainder of the time you own that truck. We also offer free warranty assistance. If for any reason you need to use your warranty, you just bring it back to us and we take care of it. It just makes sense. I mean, operating without a promise like that would be like offering customer service in the nude. And if you've seen our staff, trust me, you don't want that. So do your part to end truck nudity by outfitting your truck, Jeep, SUV, or van at Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco, where we promise to serve you fully clothed. Check out our website, createacommotion.com.
Do you love Friday Night Lights? Would you like to have a bigger role than just watching the action to ensure the games are played fairly and safely? The Waco football chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO, can make that happen. The 2020 Texas high school football season is right around the corner, and we need you to be a part of it. There's a shortage of officials across the state in all sports, and you can help. If you love the game and want to be a part of the solution, you can help our local student-athletes continue to participate in games they love. Never officiated before? Don't worry. Waco Football Chapter can help and prepare you to make the right call. And right now, Introduction to Football Officiating class is accepting registrations. Make your first grade call today by looking us up and contacting us on Facebook at Waco Football Chapter or at our website, WacoFootballChapter.com. Find out more about the Waco Football Chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO. Go to WacoFootballChapter.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The Sikkim 365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Here we go. J.B. Brown played high school football at Midway, linebacker, then signed with Navarro College, and the National Junior College Athletic Association has decided to push football back into the spring. They will play an 8-game season. Men's and women's basketball pushed back into the spring. They'll play 22 games. Soccer pushed back into the spring. They'll play 14. And that all gets a little bit more detailed and complicated. So what does this mean? And J.B. Brown, junior college linebacker at Navarro, joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. And JB, I know that this really has just happened officially today, but in the last 2 or 3 or 4 days, how have you reacted to it? What's this been like for you?
It's been kind of difficult because coming out of high school, I'm an NCAA qualifier, and I just planned on going there for a semester. So now knowing I'm going to be there a little bit longer, it was kind of hard to take in.
So you were going to go play football at Navarro, possibly be seen, and then look at another option. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, but now, you're going to stay long. Does it change your plans at all, or do you just have to – are you even in that mode yet where you can make that decision?
Doesn't really change my plans. Just a little bit longer to prepare for the season and just get some film in this spring, now the fall for us.
JB, how's this time period been for you, man? Just kind of the wait-and-see game of what's going to happen. Obviously, the lockdowns and just everybody taking precautions, all that. Just what's your life been like for the last 3 or so months?
I've just been staying inside, and I was working out in my room and just in my backyard. But then I started working out with BJ Kelly. He used to play at Midway. He has his own gym, so that's been fun.
Yeah, I had somebody, George Harmon, or I was playing golf at Ridgewood with a great group earlier.
I saw BJ a couple weeks ago.
And BJ said he's a good trainer. He's doing and they apparently it's doing very, very well. It's good to hear that. He was one heck of a running back, as you know. So, is there any chance you can, if some schools at the college football level? Now, I don't know about the details here, what you can legally do and or what you can eligibility-wise. Have you heard from anybody at Navarro where you could either opt out and go, about walk on or go somewhere else and try to play football if there is football at some NCAA schools this fall?
Yes, especially because I'm a qualifier. As long as I don't take any classes when the fall semester starts, I could leave if I wanted to, if anybody offered me.
So you could leave Navarro. Now, I'm not asking you to do that. Navarro's got a rich history, one of the best junior college histories of anybody. But you can, if that's what you wanted to do, look at other options.
Yes.
JB, have you talked to any of your fellow players about how this perhaps changes their plans? Like, what's the conversation amongst the guys right now about all this?
Well, it's kind of tough because a lot of those dudes, it's good for some players because a lot of those dudes didn't have a spring and they didn't get to get any film and get out of there if they wanted to. And it's tough because some dudes graduate in December, so I don't know how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, that's going to be a mess, isn't it? Just the recruiting side of this with the signing days and that's going to be a mess. Glad I don't make those decisions.
Yeah.
You got to be careful here the way you answer this because I'm not trying to get somebody in trouble. But has anyone reached out to you, a college team that's a division, whatever, NCAA team? Have you had anybody reach out to you?
Well, before I committed to Navarro, I had a preferred walk-on at Arkansas State, and that's still available if I really wanted to.
Good you have options.
Yes.
When do you have to make that decision?
Probably before I start fall classes.
Right. Which you don't even know when that starts now. That's the thing. I mean, that could be. Yeah. Well, are you in Waco now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Golly, it's what? Because I know you. You're an excitable, sometimes maybe a little bit over the top, right? I mean, that's let's be honest. Your motor runs
He's
hot.
fiery.
And how have you been able to just take this?
I'll take it well. It's just more time to prepare. So when we do play, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
And show everybody why I should be playing in the NCAA.
So what are some of the things that you and BJ work on in particular? Is there aspects to your game? Is it just the conditioning side of it? Like, kind of break down for us what you're focusing on right now.
Mainly right now, just conditioning, because we got plenty of time working on football stuff. But it's like you can't really do anything if you're not in shape.
Right.
How good a shape are you?
I would say if we were to play a game next week, I'll be ready.
Football shape.
Yes.
So you could play, and when you were in that mode, you were tough to block and tough to stop. Did you feel like you could play even less weight? Have you lost any weight where you could possibly even be quicker or have better speed?
Yes, I think I lost maybe 14 pounds right now.
Oh, wow. Congrats, man. How much do you just miss hitting somebody at this point?
Yeah, it's been a long time, especially because I didn't get to play my last game. It was tough.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Hey, man, good luck with it, okay? Stay in touch with us. Good luck with the decisions. I know your options are open. Obviously, we'd love to see the JUCO football play, but obviously not going to play till the spring at the earliest. And so whatever you do, stay in touch. We appreciate your time, and thanks for being a part of the show.
All right, thank you. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, you too. Yes, J.B. Brown from Midway. He was at Navarro College. You're trying to get a local JUCO guy. There's a lot of them on the decision that they have made that they're not going to play until the spring.
We could spend a segment talking about this, actually.
By the way, really proud of that kid.
Yeah.
A lot of growing up real fast. So,
yeah. He was fun to watch and also frustrating at times, but he was mostly fun versus frustrating. And, just somebody who hard on his sleeve, that type of person. And, that can put you in trouble sometimes, and it did. But it's also, pretty admirable and fun at times, and it was.
Well, it's like a superpower. It's it's great if you know how to control it.
Right.
If you don't, then it's going to be all over the place.
When we come back, Chris Arnold, he was just within the last, couple of weeks told he's going to be a part of the Radio Hall of Fame in Texas. He also is on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, covers the Mavericks, covers the Cowboys, and we'll cover it with him next on Sikkim 365 Radio. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco. It's where no matter what, every day is a commitment to stay fit. Every single day. And the energy inside of the building, it's even on the outside. I told you about last week I had a workout, and then I went out back, and Joe Rosa and Britt Coleman were back. Britt with the youth tennis program and Joe with the adult program, and they're going at it, and there's other people playing. I mean, from 6, 7 years old up to maybe 80. It's unbelievable, like fire ants on the back. And of course, they have the amazing tennis facility and even a center court right there that's right outside the back door at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. There are 40-plus group exercise workouts every single week, and then they just go right back at it again, and they're constantly adding more. And then you yourself can just work out on your own, like many people do. Walk through the front door, though. That's what you have to do. And right now, there's a lot of changes going on. In fact, there's the Kid Fit, which is going on for one more week with Shelly, and they work out around 9. I think it's like 9 o'clock in the morning throughout the week. That's the last week is this week. And there's also, if you have a child, and because of right now you can't go to work or there's no daycare, they have somebody there to watch your children. That's free as well. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco, where the locker rooms have whirlpool and sauna. It's clean, disinfected. They always are in a great mood. I mean, even if you're going to sweat. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through. And business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com. Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozers Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
I sometimes wonder if that thing's going to ever end. One of the go-to of Chris Arnold, Hall of Fame radio broadcaster, covers the NBA, the Mavericks like a blanket, the Cowboys, and much, much more. And I reached out to Chris. I thought I had sent something to him and realized I had not when he was then announced to be a part of a select group for the next class of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. And Chris Arnold joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. I heard you kind of go over that a little bit, that when you were at least up for election or selection, what was that like in your opinion?
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. By the way, appreciate being on with you guys. When I was nominated, I was like, wow, that's a nice little thing. And I just kind of took it with a grain of salt and said, I'm just going to leave it right here. And just the nomination is just fine with me. There's like over 700 radio stations across the state of Texas and all different kind of formats, all different kind of personalities. You got executives that have made great contributions to their communities or their city or their market. And I just thought that the odds were just too long. I thought if it was something for Dallas-Fort Worth, maybe I had a shot at it. And then lo and behold, they announced that I made the cut. And I was like, oh, my goodness.
Chris, what made you get into radio? Where did your love for radio come from?
Started when I was 14 years old, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee. I had my daddy take me out to the radio station I was listening to all the time. I listened to it all the time because of the music and the news and the sports, and I just thought it was fascinating. And back in those days, you couldn't be on the radio without an FCC license. So they were nice enough to show me around. Ironically, they said they needed the voice of a teenager to cut a spot. Could I do it? And I said, sure, I'll do it. And, of course, I never did it before, but I knocked it out. And I told them, I said, I really would love to be on the radio. They said, you got to get your FCC license. You get your license, we will talk about it. And then I got my license. I started hanging out at that station. Then they hired me while I was in high school to do football updates and be the weekend DJ. Next thing you know, I go off to University of Oklahoma, and I'm working my way through college at a real radio station, actually two of them in Oklahoma City. I actually spent a minute on the campus station, but I got out of the. And next thing you know, I'm in Dallas doing sports in Dallas at K104, beginning in 1980. And I was there doing the morning drive from 1980 to 2010. Started working at the Fan in 2011. Put a pit stop in at the Ticket in 1995. And my show was the first show to be number one at the Ticket. Stayed there for 5 years. And like I said, it's just been a whirlwind. 40 years in Texas on the radio nonstop.
Yeah, and the K104, that's a great launching pad with what they've done, and you are a part of that as well. So you've seen what they're trying to get done in Orlando with the NBA, the Mavericks, and much more, the bubble. Some of the people who are a little bit concerned about their conditions. Or what are your thoughts, man? Is this going to get done, Chris?
Yeah, I know they're going to start. The question is, will it finish? And they have a greater chance than most to get something done. I think that environment, nothing is a perfect world. That bubble is not perfect, but it may be better than being at home or being in city to city the way the NFL, Major League Baseball is trying to do it. I say that because they're in environments where everybody there is tested every single day. And if you're baseball or football, you're going home, you're going to the grocery store, going to the gas station. Everybody at the gas station and the grocery store, they're not tested every day. You could get COVID-19 from somebody, at the cashier.
Mm-hmm.
So let alone your family or friends or somebody pop over to the house. So I think they have a greater chance than the other sports to actually, get this thing done. We'll find out if they finish it, though.
The NFL still has an opportunity to maybe sequester their teams a little bit, but how do you think that would go if they even attempted? I mean, the Cowboys, they could, put them in a hotel that's probably pretty empty there next to the Star and pretty much have them, go to the Star, go to AT&T Stadium, and go wherever they're going to play.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys could definitely do a training camp. If they were to do a season, they could pull it off that way. I don't know if the other teams could pull it off. What I've heard from Major League Baseball is that they're really concerned about the travel aspect of it. I'm talking about the players in particular, because you can't control who's handling the luggage, what those different cities will look like, even though they're staying in their own areas. So, I mean, there's no such thing as a risk-free environment, but what's hard for the players is if they test positive, they can't play for weeks. That's going to hurt the team. That's going to hurt competing. And it's not so much will these guys get sick. It's not them. It's their family. It's who says that their wife might not have a precondition, might have an asthma situation? Who says their wife might be pregnant or not? Who says that their grandpa and grandma are not staying at their big mansion? You don't know. And that's what they are concerned with. And that's why it's not just, if I get it myself, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm young, I'll be all right. They're looking at the people that they're in contact with who may have preconditions, and they don't want to get them COVID-19.
Chris, this seems like for anybody who's going to have a season, an opportunity for a team that under normal circumstances we would not expect to be competing to have a chance to compete. And the Mavericks seem like a great candidate with what they've got in place right now. Just your thoughts, all things being equal, on the chemistry of this team, the personnel of this team, and just a group that seems to really like each other.
That is an excellent question because I think that could be the difference maker. There are several teams in the bubble that act like they don't really want to be there. They're like there and, well, I'm going to do my best, but I'd rather be at home for whatever the reason. The Dallas Mavericks as a team want to be there. They're excited about it. They look at it as an adventure. Rick Carlisle has told them, you guys are going to make history, whoever's in this bubble. It's not just a unique season. It's one that'll never, ever happen again in life. A pandemic only comes around every 100 years or so. And so for them to be in this situation, he's giving them, you're going to make history. And the fact that this team has always been a real team, ironically, before the season started last year, they all went off to Miami as just players and a couple of trainers to work out and hang out together to get to know each other even better. So ironically, they're full circle back in Florida again. They've got the talent. In fact, they have one of the best road records in the NBA, which means home court advantage, which does not exist down in the bubble. It doesn't mean anything to them. They were better on the road anyway. They've got young talent, and again, that might be something to be said for guys who are maybe older and full of hamstring. Who knows? No one can predict what's going to happen, but I like the Mavericks' odds because, as you mentioned, they want to be there, and they all like each other.
Yeah, it seems like they're fresh and they're young, and that doesn't mean they don't have the veterans, but it almost is like the I'm not sure. Is that part of it, that they haven't been through this much before, so this is new and so refreshing just to go back and be able to play and get something done?
Right, and there's no pressure on them because they're not supposed to win the whole thing. Some teams, like LeBron, the clock is ticking for him. Laker fans expect to win the whole thing. Clipper fans expect to win the whole thing. Milwaukee Bucks fans are on a mission. They expect the Bucks to win the whole thing. The Mavericks are there just to see how far they can go. And you just never know what can happen in these NBA finals. And the reason I say that is because right now, tell me off the top of your head, who won the championship last year?
The Raptors.
Yeah. Boy, I had to think about that.
And nobody saw it coming. There were injuries, but there was also Kawhi, who was a beast in the playoffs, but nobody saw that coming. Nobody predicted that. And here's also the irony of the NBA. It is such a global league. Last year, the team that won the championship, Toronto, they're not from the United States. The MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's not from the United States. He's from Greece. The Rookie of the Year, Luka Doncic, he's not from the United States. He's from Slovenia. Even the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, is from France. So all of your major award winners and your championship team, not even from the USA.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's like they're like the United Nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I mean, like the major award winners. Let's turn the table. Chris Arnold with us, Hall of Fame broadcaster with us, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. The Cowboys, and you know this because you've been around for a long time, just like me. We're old. But the Cowboys have now not played for a conference championship in 25 years. 25 years. There have been, what, Paul? A handful of teases.
Yeah.
A handful.
Yeah.
But they've never been able to get over the top, whatever the reasons. Dez, no catch. Even then, they still had to win another game or even keep Aaron Rodgers from scoring in the last 50 seconds or whatever. Why, in the end, have they not played for a championship in 25 years?
Well, when Tony Romo was there, they didn't have a good defense, except for early on when DeMarcus Ware was there. He was tasked with carrying them on his back. 2016, Dak Prescott took over. Team was pretty balanced. I think Jason Garrett and his style of coaching, I like him as a person, but he did not dare to be great. He had a great process. They all believed in him, but he would not take chances. They were mired in 8-8 seasons with a few division titles along the way. The playoffs, he wasn't daring to be great. I think it's the coaching, and I think Mike McCarthy. And when I say the coaching, look at it. I mean, Wade Phillips was there when they had both sides of the ball with defense and offense, but he's a better coordinator than a head coach. They haven't had a quality coach. I'm going to give Barry Switzer some credit. He was smart enough to let the coaches coach and CEO it. See, he could have been one of those egomaniacs and put his fingerprints all over it, just like Gruden did with Oakland right now with the Raiders. You know, he blew that thing up. Excuse me, not Kawhi. Khalil Mack off to Chicago.
Yep.
Mari Cooper off to Dallas. A lot of coaches want to put their fingerprints on it and say it was my team, not just I was riding shotgun while they won the whole thing. Barry Switzer, I was getting credit for being smart. And Jimmy Johnson was probably the best coach they've had since Landry. And those are the two coaches in the middle, right, or the beginning and the second one. So it's been coaching, I believe, because they've had some chances with talent. And then when they didn't have all the talent, there wasn't a coach on the roster who would take a chance. I think Mike McCarthy would do that because he not only won a Super Bowl with Green Bay, but Green Bay is a legendary franchise, so he's not intimidated by the task. He's had fans who are absolutely nuts and won it all.
All right, let's go fast forward to Wednesday. Are we talking Dak deal on Wednesday?
I think there's a chance. It's a slim chance, and only because Lee Steinberg and the Patrick Mahomes deal got done. And I'm not saying he's going to get a Patrick Mahomes deal. I'm saying there's a template now on how the Cowboys can pay Dak past the TV money, past the TV money that the NFL is going to do this deal with. That's why he wants lesser years. When fans say Dak's being greedy, they're completely wrong. He's betting on himself for a 4-year contract instead of the Cowboys wanting a 5-year deal. The 5-year deal is a baseball term. You know, in baseball, they say, we got to have control. It's about controlling the contract so that you can have control of the guys so you can have maximum value out of him before he turns a free agent, right? Mm-hmm. Baseball people understand control. That's what the Cowboys are trying to do with Dak Prescott's contract. Dak wants to bet on himself and have an opportunity to get the TV money. Like, guess what? Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, his peers signed contract extensions that expire in 2024. That's 4 years from now. He wants to be in that same category in 4 years. So when those quarterback contracts are getting big money like Patrick Mahomes right now, he wants to be a part of that instead of being tied down another year or two. That's what the holdup is. It has nothing to do with his arm talent or whether the Cowboys believe in him or not. It's about this big TV contract that's coming up. And it's not the same old ESPN, ABC, NBC, CBS. No, it is YouTube. It is Amazon. It is Netflix. It is Twitch. It is Twitter. It is Facebook. It is everything the NFL can put their brand on and turn it into $1 billion, including the gambling platform, which is fantasy football. That's what all of these quarterbacks are trying to put themselves in position for. And Dak said, yeah, me too. He's not the outlier. He's trying to make sure his contract matches up with those other guys, including Russell Wilson as well. But the Cowboys are saying, no, we want control. And Cowboys fans always go against the players. They always do. Players being greedy. Meanwhile, nobody talks about the fact that Dak Prescott has been the biggest steal in sports the last 4 years.
Chris, I would imagine that the Dak talk is probably taking up quite a bit of y'all's airtime, but with the circumstances being what they are, I mean, how have you guys adjusted to this new normal we're living under with a lack of sports going on, you know, every minute like we were accustomed to?
Well, you know what? The good ones get creative, and you guys are good, I'm good. What I've always said way, way back in the day was people do love lists. Everybody loves lists. And notice how not just on radio, but in television, you see all kinds of creative lists that people can discuss and debate. Because sports, the bottom line in sports has always been, sports is like a conversation at the barbershop. Everybody has an idea who they think is the real number one team in the nation in college football. Everybody has an idea who they think is the best heavyweight champion of the world. Everybody's got an idea who they think is the best team in the NFL or Major League Baseball. And then once the results are played out in the championship game, then you have some more arguments about it. But sports has always been about a debate, and lists are a great way to look at power rankings, subjective opinions, and have
Chris, thank you very much, man. Go ahead. Anything else, Paul?
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
he got cut off. He wasn't done answering.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry. I thought we got knocked off for a second. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to tell you, David, I look forward to seeing you guys again at the next training camp whenever they have one. And I miss your food, the barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can cook like David Smoke.
Man.
You guys are awesome.
Hey, man, we appreciate that. Those were the days back when access, we still have the access, but those were the days back in Oxnard when we had that setup, when it was so, it wasn't just the food. That allowed everyone to come together. It was the conversations we could have. I told this story one time, Chris. We'd all sit around and we'd have kind of our own talk shows that never were on the air. We should have recorded some of them and done podcasts back then because there was some great stuff back then.
Exactly. The good old days.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you again soon before you know it.
All right,
we'll
buddy.
get back to one day. You guys
Congratulations.
take care.
You too, Chris. Hall of Fame broadcaster Chris Arnold, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. He's been on like 6 or 7, 8 talk shows, things he's done, radio stations that have been number one in Dallas and Fort Worth.
I don't think I've never not seen Chris at a game in Dallas that I've covered, whether it's been the Rangers, the Mavericks, and we've done much Mavericks, but of course the Mavericks, he was a hype man forever,
right?
For the Mavericks, and then of course I see him at every Cowboys thing that I'm ever at, and I don't know if there's a higher energy human being in radio than Chris Arnold.
No, hard to imagine, and the energy it just takes for that ooh-wee, which if we talk to him again, I'll have to ask him where that originated as well. But no, he certainly brings the energy, and has been a mainstay in DFW for a long time. He's a deserving Hall of Famer. I remember him more not from sports, but from K104, quite frankly, because there wasn't a lot of hip-hop stations, and you certainly – now you can find a hip-hop station. I can listen to a hip-hop station in, like, London right now in 2 seconds if I wanted to. Couldn't do that back in the day. So anytime that K104 would actually squeak out its signal late at night into East Texas or driving up to Dallas and actually having control of the radio dial, being a hip-hop fan, it was like, wow, And then eventually we got the Blaze, and so we had a version of it in town. But, definitely Hall of Fame worthy, and good to talk to him.
Yep, good to hear from him. That's Chris Arnold. We'll come up at 4:40. We'll have 2 different high school football coaches as everyone got back to workouts today, including Robert Rubel, first-year head coach at Robinson. And also, I had a chance to go over to Bosqueville for a little bit. They just wrapped up their workout and talked to Clint Zander. He'll join us as well. Plus, at 5 o'clock, Robert Griffin III, he'll join us. Former Heisman Trophy winner, Baltimore Ravens quarterback, will join us for the second time since we started back on Monday, April the 6th. This is Sikkim 365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com, PettyClinicLowT.com. I was playing golf this weekend. I had a great time at Ridgewood, and then I played at White Bluffs on Lake Whitney. 2 beautiful golf courses. Thanks to George Harmon and the great group at Ridgewood, but also thanks to Mike Hicks and the hospitality up at Lake Whitney. And Mike told me the story. He had been kind of lethargic. He was really just kind of struggling. And he was playing golf with a couple of guys that play either at Cottonwood Creek or back when Twin Rivers used to be in good shape. And, of course, we know Tommy Tompkins is trying to turn now Bear Ridge back into a legitimate golf course. And he said that he had somebody tell him, hey, you might have a testosterone issue. And they had heard it from this show. And so Mike Hicks contacted Dr. Petty. Dr. Petty then started a program with him by saying, okay, let's get your blood work. Got him a discounted lab work. And then they checked his testosterone level. And it was about 1/4 the number it should be. That's just part of sometimes what happens as you grow older or things change. Mike then was put in the program, and his testosterone level soared. And so did his energy, and so did everything else. Dr. Kent Petty and Petty Clinic Low T, located just off Old Hewitt Road off of 84 in Woodway. Dr. Kent Petty and his staff, John Henry, former Baylor and Lorena running back, he's there as well. All you have to do if you feel somewhat different, you don't feel the same, sex drive's not the same, Dr. Kent Petty can, again, get you discounted lab work, look at the blood results, and put you in a program so you can be the high-performance man you want to be. It's PettyClinicLowT.com. If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
It's summer. Time to go somewhere in a new Jeep from Allen Samuels. It's our huge summer clearance event featuring 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days on our hottest models. Pick a new 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude with $5,750 in total values, or 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days. Or the fun 2020 Jeep Renegade with up to $7,000 in total values, or 0% for 72. Adios 2020s from Allen Samuels.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The Sikkim 365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, here we go. It's 431 Sikkim 365 Radio. Greg Smoke, Paul Catalina, David Smoke. Thanks to Chris Arnold from 105.3 The Fan. Robert Rubel, and also Clint Zander from Robinson High and Bosqueville High School, as they got back to working out today. And some actually were able to have offense against defense, but not just football. There's other sports. Volleyball had a chance to do some scrimmaging today, if they, in fact, had a chance to do so. So, there's a couple of things on the NBA.
Want me to mention that California thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, California Governor Gavin Newsom, you know, a lot of the people in politics right now choose to kind of point at the South and say, see what happens when you open up too early? Meanwhile, they just seem to forget that California is also a blazing fire, so to speak, right now as well. So much so to the point of California, who, mind you, did not open up too early and who was maybe, in some people's eyes, maybe overly precautious in a way. They have now, according to their governor, Gavin Newsom, elected to go back to the shutting down of movie theaters, in-person dining, the works. So California taking a step back, and if it wasn't for the Big Ten telling the Pac-12 that they were, or, if it wasn't for the Pac-12 following the lead of the Big Ten last week, then this certainly would have been the Pac-12's cue to finally make a decision. Certainly they're not capable of doing that on their own, but that is of interest, and it seems a lot of people are not happy about this one way or the other. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. And you guys were having a conversation, sometimes the conversations we have in between the breaks. So why are they not going to have fans in the stands?
Because coronavirus.
But we can protest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of dirty thing that you can't say. You can't bring it up because, because people are like, but it's all the same, and it's fine. Look, if you're willing to risk your health for a protest, then go ahead and do it, but don't be surprised when this all comes back up again.
And I'm not against, if you want to protest, that's great. That's why we have this country. That's what the flag represents to me.
But that's also, it's all part of the same thing. Like going out and being in a crowd, no matter what your intent, is the same whether you're in a bar, at a protest, at a ball game.
When we see pictures, oh my God, they're crazy in Florida or California or in the Gulf of Texas because there's Gulf Coast because there's thousands or hundreds of people. But that was that ever even something that was ever discussed?
It was, but it was like, you're racist if you said it, and don't talk about it anymore. And I need to clarify on Gavin Newsom because I finally did see his tweet. He said, as COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to rise, 30 counties, so it's not the entire state, but just those most affected, 30 counties will now be required to close indoor operations for fitness centers, places of worship, offices for non-critical sectors, personal care services, hair salons, barbershops, and malls are what they are now eliminating. But you're right. It's like if you say anything that is not just the I don't even know how to describe it, like I don't want to say party line, 'cause it's not really the party line, but if you say anything that's in any way against just accepting protest and accepting everything that comes with that, you're automatically a racist and POS and everything else, and that's wrong, and that's BS is what it is. But my whole thing, this is not me arguing for college football. If college football needs to be shut down for a while, whatever. I would like if we actually had some leadership and not just he said, she said, that's not true, this is true. Like, nobody can even tell what's true anymore. It's crazy. There's people purposely putting out false information and purposely spreading it to just create further confusion, and that's why we're all just so fed up because we don't know what's going on. But how having fans in the stands is so quickly shot down by people versus, people going out and protesting. What is the difference? If 20,000 people are on the streets protesting, I know what the difference is. The difference is the message, and the difference is, what the protests are for versus, our own personal entertainment. But from a health standpoint, anybody, and I'm not talking about the players on the field. I'm talking about fans in the stands. Anybody, tell me how 20,000 people in the streets of Austin in masks walking around all day, sweating, coughing, sneezing, spitting, or whatever is any different from 10,000 being at McLean Stadium, socially distanced with masks on, not moving around, probably doing some of those same things I said. Like, what's the difference? There's no difference.
The difference is one's looked at as something that's okay because of the message, and the other is like, well, we don't want that to happen.
So it's politics.
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. And I'm not saying
it should just be health.
It should be all consistent, and it's not. By the way, from Carl, this weekend, Austin area high school students held a protest and a rally that lasted for 6 hours. I won't put a number on it, but it seemed like most, based on pictures and video, were not wearing masks and not social distancing. Wasn't a thing. So that's part of, and churches are, I don't know if this is true, churches are now winning lawsuits against governors due to the First Amendment.
Yeah, I don't know about
I drove by a couple of churches. I don't know where it was. I guess on the way back to Lake Whitney, Craig and I had a couple of days up there. It was a lot of fun, just a lot of peace and quiet, just to get away. And I saw some church parking lots that seemed to be very, very full. By the way, thanks again to Gary Comer. I'm on the range yesterday at White Bluffs at Lake Whitney on the range with Mike Hicks, who's the pro up there. And I mentioned to him what we were doing. And I mean, from 40 yards away, Gary goes, "Are you Smokey?" I mean, it's just Lake Whitney.
Yeah.
And he goes, I love what you guys are doing. And that was nice, and we appreciated that as well.
Yeah, if you're looking for just a little getaway that's not too far away from we probably shouldn't get them as sponsors, actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give them a free message. But, yeah, that's a cool little place out in Whitney to just get, like, a legitimate log cabin, like a real log cabin. And
two-story log cabin with a loft.
AC, TVs. It's got everything that you need in there.
2 gorgeous golf courses that have been redone.
And they're on the golf courses, so you can sit out and, watch guys come up on the 18th tee or whatever. The only downside right now, but this is a downside unless you're going to a tropical location, is the brutal heat that we're going through right now, because that's just, part of the deal. But, it was a cool little getaway for a couple of days.
Well, Texas is going to stop being Texas.
Yeah, I know.
George Harmon of the Nitchie Group, Kevin Kraus, Michael Shornack, and his son Newt had a great time Saturday at Ridgewood. That course may be in the best condition it's been in a long, long time. And what Moore does there with the course, he does a great job, the course superintendent. So those are a couple of things from over the weekend. Now, did you hear what Rajon Rondo was kind of snickering, making fun of their location and their hotel accommodations? Have you guys seen the pictures of the NBA players' rooms?
They're at the nicest
they're
resort.
not presidential suites.
No, but
we've stayed in rooms like that, though.
But if we were going to plan a family vacation to Disney right now, and you said which hotel is the number one, they're in the number one hotel, like the one that's the best reviewed and the one that's the nicest.
It's a nice place.
Yeah.
But when you've been pampered, and a lot of these guys, again, the NBA's minimum salary is like well over $1 million, and he's made over $100 million, to sit there and take a pot shot at Motel 6, who then said something to him on social media.
He said, we'll leave the light on for you.
We'll leave the light on for you.
Well, thanks for the advertising.
Yeah,
I think he broke his wrist. Now, it has nothing to do with karma, but Rajon Rondo.
I've never liked Rondo. I'm not surprised he's complaining.
He just has kind of that look on his face that he's a smart.
He always looks mad at something, but no.
These guys are so spoiled.
Of course they are, and they're not living in the same reality. Maybe in some aspects of their life they are, but from just a pampered, spoiled child standpoint, that's exactly what some of these guys are acting like. In some cases, I've seen a few people point this out. It was it was one of the Mavericks, whose name's escaping me now. And he said over the weekend about being in Orlando, he said, hey, this is better than where I grew up and what I lived with. Like, we got food, we got accommodations, and they're out there, like, fishing every day. And, it's off a pier. It's not, like, real grand or anything. But that's how you used to do it back in the day, too. And so he said, hey, this is cool with me. And it was just nice. And it was a nice, fresh perspective of somebody who's actually just thankful for what they have versus guys who have clearly forgotten where they came from.
I saw a player, tweet out his room service meal the other day, which is like it was a sandwich and all this stuff that they gave him.
Salad
and you know what I thought? The first thing I thought, at that hotel, that's about $31.
Yeah.
So again, just don't complain.
Yeah, here's another thing. And no, you're exactly right. And it's just like, can you imagine if a Hollywood actor or actress had to stay in that room?
But you know what? Most of them wouldn't be dumb enough. Even Hollywood people.
I don't know, man. They're about as secluded as any.
They have to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, they have to stay in that room. Again, a lot of times, I'll tell you this, they'll have movie shoots where they've got, pretty extreme. Listen to the people on Game of Thrones talk about the conditions they had to shoot in Northern Ireland, but they don't complain about it like it's the worst thing in the world. They just make it a funny story for, when they're telling people, it was hard to shoot this.
It was interesting. I mean, these rooms look like they're fine. Yes, that's a long time. And even if you have a nice room, being somewhere for more than 5 or 6 days or 7 days or 10 days.
So they should fly us in and let you and I break the air conditioning in the room.
Yeah.
Which we had a streak of doing for
and
a
I will
while.
say, for these NBA guys, to be in this bubble, to have to be feeling like you're almost in jail or contained. Obviously, it's a lot bigger than a jail cell. You've got a lot more room to maneuver around. You've got restaurants. You've got all of that. I do understand the kind of cabin fever that can come with that, and I can understand guys missing their families. Absolutely understand that. But, just seeing them complain about the accommodations that a lot of people would trade for right now. How many people would trade the homes they're living in for the hotel rooms these guys are in?
Oh.
I guarantee you a lot of people would.
Why were you complaining about the place that the NBA decided to have this? Because the NBA could have just decided, you know what, we're going to do this in a high school gym in this city, and we're going to put you up in these hotels, and that's what we're going to have to deal with. No, we're going to do it at Disney World, a place where people save up for years to go on vacation one time and would love to go. So there's tons of things to do. Okay, the WNBA, they're in their bubble, and I understand they complain about IMG Academy, but they're in freaking Bradenton. There's nothing to do where they are.
No.
The NBA has plenty to do, so just shut up about your accommodations.
Yeah, especially in whether it's these times or not, where a lot of people are basically just stuck inside or can't do anything or lost their jobs or whatever. Somebody else asked me if I do a real quick history again about Earl Campbell. Now, it's Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams' field at UT.
Yeah, that's what it's
DK
supposed
Royal
to be.
Memorial Stadium has been Joe Jamel Field. The family said, no, we want it to be named after Earl and Ricky Williams, the two Heisman Trophy winners. So back in late 2005, I went down to do an interview with Earl Campbell. Earl wasn't doing well. Remember, Earl battled many things. Painkillers. Pain. Excruciating pain. Drank a bunch of beers and had painkillers. He's admitted that. Remember, his sons, Christian and Tyler, were the ones that kind of had an intervention with him. So in late 2005, I drove down to his house in Westlake. He was up in the upstairs because he couldn't really he was immobile. And did a 90-minute to a 2-hour one-on-one with him. And my whole reason going down there was I always wanted to ask him, why in the hell hasn't your home city, your hometown, honored you? There was nothing. And so I asked him that. And he said, I've told my family, and they know I mean it, that I do not want to be honored by anybody, whether it was Tyler, University of Texas, anybody, after I'm gone, because I want my family to be able to enjoy the opportunities if, in fact, they want to use or honor my name. And he was very serious, and that's when David Simmons, superintendent at Tyler Independent School District, called me during the interview, because it was recorded. We played it unedited for nearly an hour and a half, 2 hours. We have to do something about this. Why have we not done something before? This is ridiculous. I can't imagine it. And he said, we're not only going to do something about it right now, I'm committing to making sure it's Earl Campbell Field at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. 6 months later, the school board approved it. That fall, they opened up the stadium in his name, had a big ceremony. And now there's a parkway. Now there's the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award that Cindy does. She's the one that runs it, the brains behind it. Craig, you're a part of it. I'm on the voting part of the committee. And that's now been going on. And then they're also, even before the bronze statue outside of DK Royal Memorial Stadium, that happened before even then. That was afterwards. And it was loud and clear what Earl said. And it wasn't because Earl wanted to be honored. He's not that kind of guy. It's because he wanted his brothers and his sisters and his family to be able to have that moment for themselves with him. And now, here we are today with Texas making the announcement that he and Ricky Williams will have the field named after them at DK Royal Memorial Stadium. Coming up next, Robinson football coach Robert Rubel and Bosqueville's Clint Zander. His workouts back today around Texas. Robert Griffin III at 5 on Sikkim 365 Radio. Ideal MRI. I remember when Dr. Rob Maxey contacted me, we made the announcement about us doing the show. Sikkim 365 put out the press release about Paul and Craig and me and doing this show. And Robert Maxey, Dr. Maxey, called me up. He goes, how can we be a part of this? We want to be a part of it. I had spoken about them back when they first opened, a few years back. They're the title sponsor of this show. Why do you use Ideal MRI? Every scan is performed on a state-of-the-art machine, read by a board-certified expert, and they do it with a level of convenience and comfort uncommon in the healthcare business. And with a fixed, transparent, affordable price, you are not going to get something later on down the line that is going to be a hidden cost you did not know about. Before your exam, they will be in touch with you and also check on your insurance to make sure that headache is out of the way. On the day of your exam, you're going to wear comfortable shoes, and they're going to make sure your experience is comfortable by the check-in, through the specialist, and through the MRI in this state-of-the-art machine. And I'm telling you right now, I went through it because I've had a shoulder issue, and I went through the process. Dr. Maxey, Al, and others set me up. It was fantastic. And again, you can save sometimes thousands of dollars on your MRI. So if you have something that hurts, and it's not just a little bit of a nagging pain, a muscle, a bone, a ligament, something's wrong. Your doctor has even said we need to get an MRI. Ask your doctor. They know about IdealMRI.com in the Central Texas Marketplace in Waco.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
So it's time for us to have a talk because obviously your buddies aren't telling you and neither is your woman. You've been driving that truck around, exposing your stuff. It's not only embarrassing, it's disgusting. I'm talking about full frontal truck nudity, and it's time for you to do something about it with a grill guard or a front-end replacement bumper from Pickup Outfitters. There are lots of good reasons to get a grill guard, like when Bambi decides to cross the road at the same time you're occupying it. But the best reason is that no one wants to see your junk up in your grill. Pickup Outfitters on Lake Erie Drive carries all the major brands of grill guards, including Ranch Hand, Cattleman, and even the Renegade brand made right here in Waco. And every grill guard we sell comes with our lifetime installation guarantee and no-worry warranty program. Won't you help us end truck nudity? Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Erie Drive in Waco. Check out our grill guards on our website at createacommotion.com/guards. createacommotion.com/guards.
Texas board certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
How often have you said it's time to get in shape every day, every week, every month, maybe for as long as you can remember? How about starting today? I promise if you'll just join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness now, you'll thank me later. Hi, this is David Smoke, offering a variety of 40 group exercise classes every single week, including boot camp on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:15, plus spin, body shaping, Pilates, yoga, and bar. And there's a free kids club as well. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 10, Friday, 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 to 7, and personal trainers, Christy London and Randall Corley. World-class tennis facility with pros Britt Coleman and Joe Rosa with lessons, camps, and special events. Spacious and clean workout rooms, locker room for men and women, both with a whirlpool and sauna, and now there's touchless bottle filling stations. No intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an entirely new atmosphere, and yes, you can do this, but you have to walk through the front door. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The Sikkim 365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
RG3 at 5. Our interview with Clint Zander will be around 5:25 or 5:30 today. We're now joined by Robert Rubel. He's the head football coach, his first year as head coach at Robinson on Sikkim 365 Radio. And I wanted Coach Rubel. I said, hey, can you come on with us on Friday? And you said?
I was on my anniversary trip.
Good call, Coach. Good call.
Well, we learned about how much you like us. I mean, yeah, that's and that's very smart move, very, very smart move. So, first year head coach, we've talked a lot about what Dave Aranda is dealing with at Baylor with almost a brand new staff, although some that were on the staff with Matt Rule or a lot of other places. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of high schools, maybe 100 or 200 that have changed coaches. How has this impacted you so far?
No, honestly, I think one of the big things that, obviously being, the opportunity to be a head coach again was great, but to me it was the opportunity to keep working with the current staff that we had. And so for us, we only went out and hired 3 guys, and one of those guys was two of those guys were junior high positions. So, I mean, we kept most of our staff intact, which was great for us, and it's already paying dividends. We're all on the same page with everything that we're doing right now. But when Coach Allison was here, he did such a great job of hiring the right guys and building the type of staff that he liked. And coincidentally, it was the exact same for me with the types of guys that he hired and what he was looking for in his coaches. And the opportunity just to take over for Coach Allison and keep working with these guys was the main draw for me to this whole thing. And so that was something that I stressed in my interview, and that I wanted to keep these guys here. I wanted them to keep working for Robinson ISD, and they were great for the kids, and we all work well together. And so it's been great. It really has. And we've been able to go hire some guys that have already, started fitting right in and doing the things that we needed to do. So it's been great.
How much further ahead of the curve does that kind of put you that you don't have to, especially when you've had to do some distance learning, so to speak, with the kids during this time? Does that put you that you know the kids, you don't have to go back over, and you didn't have to hire 9 new coaches, you just had to hire a couple?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, especially with what ended up happening. I mean, so we had already gone into our, I don't want to say lockdown mode, but, our mode of kids weren't coming to school. We weren't doing anything when I interviewed. And, I made the point, look, this is going to be important because we don't know when we're going to be able to get back. So our ability to keep the staff intact and to keep a lot of things going in the right direction, and the fact that these kids know us is going to be huge down the road. And holy cow, it's as long as this thing's lasted, it's been really important. And just what you said, I mean, we've been able to go out, and now that we get to do some sports-specific stuff, the UIL has allowed us to do that in the summer. We've just basically been able to keep rolling through what we were doing, in the spring before everything, got turned upside down. So it's been great. I mean, I was the defensive coordinator. I promoted our D-line coach, so everything defensively, we're doing the exact same stuff. Offensively, we kept our offensive coordinator. We've added a few things because we got a little bit different personnel than what we've had the past couple of years, so we're going to have to do a couple things different. But for the most part, it's been a much easier transition than it would have been in a different circumstance.
I spoke with Clint Zander. We'll have his interview from Bosqueville earlier today, and we'll have that around 5:30. And I asked him, were the players or the athletes in better shape after they've been gone a couple of weeks on the way back today than they were when you got them after the shutdown in the spring?
You know what? I want to say probably yes. For kids this age, a week off doesn't hurt. A lot of them are still growing, and so a week or two off for a little bit of rest and recuperation, it's good for them. But we kept as soon as we got shut down here the second time a couple of weeks ago, we just did the online workouts, and we did more quote unquote aerobic type stuff and HIIT training than weightlifting. And so we got back today, and you could tell the ones who hadn't got online for a couple of days, but it seemed like they took the conditioning aspect of it a little better than they did when we first came back.
Robert Rubel, head football coach at Robinson, with us on Sikkim 365 Radio. And you mentioned the opportunity to be a head coach. You had been a head coach, was it in college at Tabor and then at Holly High School back a long, long time ago? Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
So it'd been a long time for you. When that opportunity came, that was something you just felt like it was time to do what you had done before.
Well, there were a lot of different aspects. Without getting into a bunch of long stories, I kind of, gotten away from being the athletic director, head football coach, because my kids were at that age where I really wanted to spend more time with them. And so I just said, hey, I'm gonna step back, and I'm gonna be a coordinator, and I got lucky enough to get a job out of Buffalo, Texas, and I was offered an opportunity to be the defense coordinator and also the head golf coach. And my daughter was a big golfer, and my son was a golfer, so the opportunity to coach them. And my son was a football player, so again, the opportunity to coach them through high school. And I'm a dad, and my daughter qualified for the state championship her junior and senior year in golf, and I'm sitting here thinking not very many dads get to spend the amount of time with their 17 and 18-year-old daughters that I got to. So I feel very blessed to be able to have done that, and came over here to Robinson, and we really enjoyed being here. I'll be honest with you, I was actually pretty deep in interviews for a DC job at a 6A school up in DFW, and when this job opened, and I sat down with my wife and said, hey, what are you thinking here? Because all of our family is in DFW. And she was like, well, do you think you're ready to be a head coach again? And I said, honestly, if you'd have asked me 3 years ago, I'd have probably said no. But now with this coaching staff, with these kids, this would be a great opportunity. And, my son just left for college, so my wife and I are empty nesters now, so that made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So it was just a great opportunity at the right time. That's all it was. I'm so thankful for Coach Allison for giving me the opportunity to come over here as a defensive coordinator 2 years ago. And I feel blessed and grateful that I got the opportunity to become the head coach here when he left. So it just, one of those things that, good Lord was looking out for me, put me in the right spot at the right time, and it worked out.
Robert, we appreciate it. Good luck. Thanks for your time, and good luck with the workouts resuming as they did earlier today. That's Robert Rubel, head football coach at Robinson. I had this note. We had one on the text line sent to us from the 254. Louisiana schools, no high school football until Louisiana schools enter phase 4 of school reopening plan. That's from lawmakers. Louisiana High School Athletic Association will not allow games to be played in the state until they enter phase 4 of the K-12 reopening plan. That's what Eddie Bonine, executive director, told lawmakers today. Not sure how long that will take to enter or attain phase 4, but that's from Louisiana. When we come back, Robert Griffin III on Sikkim 365 Radio. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries, celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas. Our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, bod pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change, your change.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through, and business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Ben Erlinson, who'll navigate you through today's financial climate. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
He's going for it again. And he's got it again. Terrence Williams. What a night for Griffin.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
All right, Baylor has released the latest COVID-19 testing numbers. Also, we'll have Robert Griffin III here momentarily, joining us on Sikkim 365 Radio. So the numbers, it appears, again, overall, compared to what you've seen from around many other campuses, athletic programs, the active cases is what I look at. 16 active cases. New cases since last week, 7-6 was July 6th, 11. Total number of cases being monitored, 13, but 37 now positive cases, and this is after what is now what, Paul?
A couple weeks now. Yeah.
This is the third or fourth week, but it did jump a little bit. The new cases since last week jumped to 11, but new cases are from multiple sports, not just football, and not all of those cases were tested positive in Waco.
Yeah, it looks to me like Baylor's rate is progressing at a containable pace so far.
Yeah, last week they had 11. Is that right, Craig? There were 11 active cases. This week there's 16, so they're up 5. Positive cases overall through the 3 or 4 times they've done this now is at 37. 11 are the new cases, some of them on campus, some of them not. Some of them are not just football, multiple sports that are also testing during this time as they continue the onboarding. We will not have Mac Rhodes tomorrow. It'd be good to have him on tomorrow because, one, we always get the testing back from him as far as his conversations and also the backstory on the Ole Miss game with Baylor. But I got to tell you, he's been available since he walked into a dumpster fire. Basically has been.
No,
I think Mac probably needs a break from everybody except family.
In 4 years now, it's been 4 years for Mac? 2016?
Yeah, August of 16.
So in 4 years, let's say 20 times we haven't had him, and of those 20, he's made it up on a different day, so really it's probably in the 11 to 13 times where he's just not been there.
Sometimes, but honestly,
just on vacation and gone.
Yeah,
so
or he's on a Big 12 media, Big 12 meetings, not available. So again, that's the latest from Baylor Athletics on what's happening with their testing.
Well, it's to be expected. 11 new cases since last week, as you mentioned, 13 being monitored. Given the number of tests they've probably done at this point, the fact that, like you said, multiple sports are involved in this, not all of them are even in Waco. Some people may read this and read it a certain way of oh my gosh, they've got 37 athletes on campus that are positive, because people don't read things anymore. But it's not that dire. I think they've done an admirable job of trying to contain this as best can be. And I'll still maintain, for everybody who's anti-college sports and everything like that right now, I would much rather these young men and women be getting these tests this way than not getting them at all and just going around spreading it to people. So there's a lot of lives that are potentially being saved. If you think about, I don't know the specifics. Only Baylor knows the specifics of the cases that are not involving athletes or the primary contacts and all that. I mean, you know what? Potentially saving lives by getting these young men and women tested. So overall, I think it's a positive thing, even if it results eventually in us not having things that we are really looking forward to or want to be entertained by. I'd rather know information than not know information. And so this is very informative, and I like that they're doing this.
Yeah, and the other thing I think is I think we don't need to be doing a lot of things, but athletics gives us a nice little test group of how can we maybe, because we're going to either have to learn to live with this thing out in the world without stopping doing everything or figure out a way to do things, shut down and wait for it. So I'd rather us try to figure out how to do things at a reasonable, educated, scientific way as opposed to, waiting it out, because the wait could be, everybody says in the spring, but I mean, what have we heard that's going to make it better in the spring right now that we know of?
Not a dadgum thing.
Nothing.
Not a dadgum thing.
So, the spring is just, that's how long it'll take to get a vaccine. Well, and we've heard there's positive reports on vaccines, but that doesn't mean, this isn't a 1 hour procedural television show where they go in the lab and by the end of it, they figure it out. They figure out the one thing they're doing wrong and then they put something else in it and fix it.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens. I think we all kind of see the path that it's headed down right now. I can understand Mac Rhodes not wanting to talk for a week just because he's got to be just, melted brain at this point with everything that they're having to take into account. I think it's ridiculous that they were caught off guard by the announcement last week by the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. I think it's ridiculous there wasn't more communication amongst the Power 5 schools. And I said that in the little piece for the True or False on SicEm365.com this week that Jason sent, I think, me and Ashley for that one. But yeah, it's anybody's guess at this point how this will shape out. And I'm still of the opinion of, hey, take precautionary measures and do everything. I've been probably the most precautionary of anybody, certainly on this show, but just I think kind of in general on the people I know as well. I'm not scared of the virus, like I said last week. It's more or less the spread to people who I would be scared for in getting the virus. But I also have the belief of we can't just not have any answers and just sit around and just do this for forever. I mean, we can't. I understand that there are going to be risks, but there's risks in everything that we do. And, if we're heightening the risk and we're making it much more problematic, pull back the reins. But this idea that we're going to get to a point where there's vaccines worldwide and nobody can catch, that's never going to happen. Even with a vaccine, it's not going to destroy the virus to where it never comes back. So, it's a situation where something's got to give at some point, and I just don't know how that's going to happen.
254-339-1122 is the number on the text line, brought to you by Riverbend Liquor and Wine. Also, tomorrow, working on, I mentioned Earl Campbell, but also Graham Harrell, who's the offensive coordinator at Southern Cal. I've got a little bit of I got a puzzle to try to figure out here because of the timing of when they want Graham Harrell available. And with all due respect to the great Ennis Stud, one of the great record-breaking quarterbacks, Texas Tech, Earl's at 3:15, and that's not moving. We could probably move Earl back 5 or 10 minutes. He's okay with that. So we could have Graham Harrell, Earl Campbell, and maybe even Andre Ware tomorrow at some point. It all depends. We're working on all those.
Will there be 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the same show?
Yeah. I think we've done that a couple of different times, but it's been very, very rare. Hey, let's break right here and try to come back with Robert Griffin III. Everything's going straight to voicemail. We've had him on. We had him on the opening day, which seemed like a long time ago, and it was because this is week 15 of Sikkim 365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine, a hidden gem in Waco. I actually stopped by the drive-thru this weekend and picked up a couple of things. I even bought a bottle of wine. I did that. You wouldn't think that from me normally. I'm more of a whiskey guy, but I had a bottle of wine. I did that. Sometimes I like to change things up. And they have it. You just go up to the drive-thru window and you say, I'll have a bottle of Moscato and some Balcones, and which I did. You know, pretty much every liquor store I go into, I'm probably going to walk out with a bottle of Balcones, and certainly at Riverbend Liquor and Wine where they have it in stock. Single malt pot still, which is what I bought. Baby Blue, French Oak, Rye, Brimstone. They've got it there. Great drive-through window. Convenient, clean in-store location if you want to go inside and look around. Plus that great walk-in fridge for the greatest craft beer selection you can possibly imagine in Waco. Tons of great stuff. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated in a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. Find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
What are you supposed to do when you pull up behind a truck that doesn't even have a hitch? I mean, it's like looking at plumber's crack. Do you cover your kids' eyes, look away, and switch radio stations? Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, asking for your help to end this embarrassing form of truck nudity. If you have a truck, at some point you need to pull something. It could be a trailer to haul stuff off to the dump, maybe a jet ski, a boat, an RV, a horse trailer, even just a bike rack. The point is, put a hitch on your truck's backside. And at Pickup Outfitters, we actually install more hitches than anything else. Whether it's a receiver hitch, a gooseneck, or a fifth wheel, we'll cover your aspirations to not drive a nude truck. And all hitches are covered by the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. So cover your rear end with a new hitch from Pickup Outfitters on Lake Air Drive in Waco, where we're fighting to end truck nudity in Central Texas. Check them out on our website at createacommotion.com/hitches.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday, pick up on Friday for the weekend.
weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher Shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasoning, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The Sikkim 365 Radio poll is brought to you by Pickup Outfitters, where everything purchased and installed comes with our famous lifetime installation guarantee and free warranty assistance. 220 Lake Air Drive or createacommotion.com.
Also, New York City, or not New York City, this is the state of New York, says schools in New York, Cuomo says schools in New York can open again once region is in phase 4. So we said Louisiana with football. Once the school, kindergarten through 12th grade, enters phase 4. And, of course, everybody has their phases. We were in phase 2, moving towards, we got to 3 in Texas, and then they kind of had to bring the lure back into the boat. And that kind of is a week-to-week thing right now. Craig, you got a couple other things. We tracked down RG3, and we will. And, again, tomorrow, one hell of us. You've got Phil Steele on tomorrow, who has that magazine that he figured out a way to get that done during this craziness of the shutdown as well.
Yeah, apparently the UFC had a very successful pay-per-view on Saturday night. I watched the main event, and it was not very entertaining. If you are a Kamaru Usman fan, then you loved it, and he dominated Jorge Masvidal, and it was, really, like I said, just a dominant performance over the course of 5 rounds. But, man, it was one of the most boring fights for a casual observer, which I consider myself more than any type of an expert. By the end of the night, and I don't have the stat right in front of me, but the strike ratio or strike totals between Usman and Masvidal, who took the fight on pretty short notice. He definitely looked gassed very early on. Part of that was Usman's strategy, but basically the fight was this. Masvidal throws some punches that weren't really all that effective. Usman, who's a much better wrestler, pushes him up against the cage, leans on him, and then just proceeded to stomp his feet for 5 straight rounds. Put him up against the cage, stomp on his feet, stomp on his feet, stomp on his feet, knee, stomp on his feet. Masvidal wiggles out of it, gets taken down, gets out of it, push up against the cage, stomp on the feet, stomp on the feet, stomp. He landed over 300 strikes since foot stomps count as strikes. Landed over 300 because I think like 120 of the strikes were foot stomps, which I understand is part of the fight game, but I'm really not a fan of that. That is not entertaining to watch. I don't care how strategic. It was a great strategy to beat Masvidal. But, man, it was a letdown of a main event if you were expecting some fireworks and things like that. If you were just a regular MMA fan who was looking for just the bare bones, like best fighter wins, and, yeah, you absolutely saw that. But for an event that was highly successful, due in large part to the main event, and also just because it's one of the only live events going on right now, they were successful, but I just don't see really the draw of Usman if his fights are going to be that way, because you're going to get your hardcores, but unless the opponent is actually interesting, he's going to be a guy like others have been in the past where they're just boring fighters, and people kind of get tired of watching them.
You and I interviewed Masvidal at the Super Bowl, Craig,
they had
it was fun.
The run-in at the Super Bowl between those two was more entertaining than the actual fight.
Yeah, they had the run-in, and Masvidal even told us that, like, if he saw him, he was going to – and did we have Usman on?
No, we were supposed to, and I didn't see the cue and didn't get pointed out to me, and apparently he was standing there waiting to be interviewed, and I didn't see it because I was interviewing whoever we were interviewing, and then was told after the fact, but, whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're dust up at the Super Bowl where I don't think any punches or anything were really thrown, was more entertaining, that 30 seconds, than the actual 5 rounds of a championship fight. But Usman was dominant. He's a great champion. That's just a boring style of fighting for me personally, and what seemed like trending on Twitter Saturday night, a whole lot of people. And the other thing is the NFL has unveiled their Oakley mouth shield. to help
I saw this.
combat coronavirus. We knew they were going to have to probably change some equipment and things like that, but Oakley's designed an Oakley mouth shield in collaboration with doctors and engineers from the NFL Players Association and the National Football League that they say will help spread or mitigate the spread of the coronavirus, according to ESPN, on the field of play. It'll be distributed to all 32 teams next week, and then they'll start to give it a little bit of a test drive to see if this will, in fact, be something that allows them to move forward without as many concerns. So that'll be interesting to see that and how effective it is. And if it's effective and it's definitely not a mouthpiece like you would think, then I would imagine that place is going to make a lot of money, Oakley.
It's essentially so you've got a shield, like they have for the eyes, and then it goes all the way down and it has,
it's a clear shield, yeah.
Vents on it so that you can breathe. But I'm going to imagine it'd be pretty hot to put on. Even if you're in an indoor stadium, it would be pretty warm to play in that thing.
Yeah. Picture?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, it's on ESPN.com. What I don't understand, though, is the slits in it. It doesn't completely stop perspiration or, spitting or things like that. It definitely hinders it, but it doesn't completely solve it. So
okay, I just saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting looking. It's really, you kind of have to almost look closely. If you saw it from far away, you wouldn't really notice unless shine was coming off of the bottom part of it. But yeah, it's just an extra layer of like a visor basically that's over the mouth portion of the bottom part of the face mask. So
it would certainly help.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
It's one of those things like, it helps, but football is a sport where at any given moment you get up and you've got any number of things on your person.
Mm-hmm.
Blood, sweat, whatever, mud.
The doctor who is a part of the NFL's engineering committee said that it does not allow the direct transmission of droplets. I don't know how that's possible with the airways and the openings, but that's what they say. So they've tested it on a few players. They said claustrophobia hasn't been an issue. So they'll see how it works out for everybody. But J.J. Watt's been somebody who says he doesn't like the idea.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said J.J. Watt was somebody who said he doesn't. Or I thought he said his second year in the league. He thought it'd be cool. I put a visor on my helmet. I was like, it's so cool. I want to put a visor on. I had it out for about 3 periods of practice. I said, take this sucker off. I'm gonna die out here. And that was just a visor, not this combination of visor and then lower visor with some slits in it that they're going to be using. So he'd be somebody you would think that's probably not going to like this very much.
Yeah, I just finally got a better angle where I could actually see it. It does,
If it helps, great.
It would help. Okay. What my question is, all right, so if I'm going to, straight out blow air and spit or whatever at you, yeah, it would certainly stop it. But if it's going to come down from below my chin, then
I ran this morning.
Yeah.
And I could have had a helmet, a face mask on. Of course, you wouldn't do that when you're running. But again, these guys are sweating. I was dripping sweat. Like it's everywhere. Like I'd lean my face over. It was like everywhere. It's just, these are 175 to 350 pound men out in playing football and against each other. I don't know. I don't know if it works for them. Great. If it doesn't, I don't know. Didn't they did the NFL not outlaw the shield? The darkened shield on some cases?
Yeah, they didn't eliminate visors. You just can't have like a red one and a blue
or
one.
The reflective.
Yeah, the reflective. You can have the clear visors.
I always thought those were cool as hell.
I thought that just the dark ones, like the I guess almost brownish tinted, or I guess blackish tinted visors were really cool looking. But yeah, they outlawed those and is just for the clear ones. Because I remember in college football, you started to see like Sooner red visors and like the ones that matched all the uniforms, and they look cool, but I guess there were issues with that. So we'll see if this is the cure-all, at least in the case of limiting the spitting and things like that from people's faces with helmets on. I don't know.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, it's clear the current circumstances related to COVID-19 must improve, and we will continue to closely monitor developments around the virus on a daily basis. In the coming weeks, we'll continue to meet regularly with campus leaders via video conferences, gather relevant information while guided by medical advisors. We believe that late July will provide the best clarity for making the important decisions ahead of us, which is, the Pac-12 has followed the lead of the Big Ten and now the ACC and the Big 12 and the SEC. Is there a difference in waiting 3 weeks? Maybe not. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse. Maybe we don't know anything new. But again, that's. I think the SEC in this particular case would be, with all due respect to the Big 12 or the ACC or the Big 10, whatever. Don't you think the SEC, if they shut it down?
Oh, it's over. Yeah.
If they shut it down.
Yeah.
And it's not because they have more of the elite teams. It's not even because they've won all. It's just that their focus on, football. I mean, it is a religion. It's a religion in some places here in the Big 12 as well. But this was during an in-person meeting of athletic directors in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we kind of know where this is going. I don't know how much of a difference that 2 weeks will make, but I'm all for them taking another 2 weeks before deciding to pull the plug on, whatever they're going to pull the plug on. I mean, I think we can certainly see where non-conferences are going to pretty much be off the table entirely. They're just waiting to make that official. Now, as far as like a season itself and what that could look like, again, hey, you move it, okay, but I sure hope somebody can tell me eventually how they think this is going to happen in the spring with any type of certainty, which I have yet to hear. Maybe there is a vaccine at that point. Maybe, things simmer down after the election. I don't know, because so much of this has been political or politicized. It's different aspects of what we're actually facing, the legitimate health crisis with the virus itself. You've had so many people with their, hands in trying to make it about this politician or about this party or about this state or about this whatever. Just from a health standpoint, I get it. But from a health standpoint, also then tell me that it will work in the spring and that we will have the vaccine and everything that we needed, that we need to do this. And right now, no one can guarantee that. So what will be the difference? Are we just going to, continue on and then next spring, hey, there's still coronavirus and now we'll move it to, we're going to have summer season. Oh, wait, there's still coronavirus. Fall 2021, still coronavirus. What are we going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point do you just go, you just got to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not trending in the right direction. And I do wonder, you mentioned the election year. I wonder if this was a non-election year, if what the
hell no
the rhetoric would
the
be
answer
around
to that. It doesn't mean we wouldn't want to be safe, but this is being used as a political monster
for everything.
Everything, the economy, for health, it's just everyone's trying to piss off the other person or trying to point fingers.
Divide.
It's a sick country. We love it. I love it. I love America. It's like Isaiah Austin. If you didn't listen to what he said in the earlier interview with him about how we are privileged in this country, not just him. He as a basketball. We are privileged with what we get, what we have at our disposal.
People have no idea, man.
And that's when you, there's a lot of things in this country that must get better, and some are getting better, and sometimes slowly but surely is better than rushing to judgments and rushing to just do things and tear shit up and stuff like that. I'm sorry. That's the way I felt. It is.
Yeah.
But
we're not perfect, but we're a hell of a lot better than most every other place.
And you have a guy that's been in like 6 or 7 different countries. And he says to us that we're privileged. That doesn't mean we don't have the problems. We have them. But I don't know. When we come back, we're working on RG3. I don't know what happened, but I've spoken to him. He was going to be ready at 5. If he's not, he's not. We have Clint Zander, the head coach at Bosqueville. Tomorrow, Earl Campbell, Graham Harrell, Phil Steele, among others. This is Sikkim 365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. The great deals continue to roll on, and all along, as I've been telling you about Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac, they've, like everybody else, had to deal with the virus and all the precautions and things that come with that, and that's why their showroom is disinfected daily. That's why their employees make sure they're washing their hands as well, and that's why they are focused on safety. Right now, it's employee pricing for everyone at Richard Carr. You pay what employees pay all month long. That includes saving $6,000 on a 2020 Buick Encore, the perfect crossover SUV with a roomy interior, safety features, the latest tech, and it's also a quiet ride right now, $19,900. Again, a savings of $6,000 on a 2020 Buick Encore. There's also employee pricing, as I mentioned, for everyone at Richard Carr. You can save over $7,000 on 2020 Acadias or Yukons. You can save $6,000 on Terrains as well. Also looking at the Cadillac line, you can experience the thrill of owning a Cadillac XT4 right now for only $35,900 at Richard Carr Cadillac. Great prices, free oil changes with a new purchase, in-town priority warranty service. All of that comes when you buy a vehicle from the great folks over at Richard Carr. Richard Carr Motors are the people you can count on, a local family dealer run by Baylor Bear alumni that wants the chance to earn your business. So stop by their disinfected showroom, disinfected daily, and see their safety-focused staff where they can bring the test drive to your home because your comfort and safety is their first priority. Find them at richardcarr.com or Highway 6 at the Imperial exit.
Summertime means vacation time, and when you hit the road, do it in the vehicle of summer, Jeep. At Allen Samuels, it's our huge summer clearance event. It's on. Get employee pricing on brand new 2020 Jeep Gladiator Sport Editions, plus an additional $1,500 in retail bonus cash. And ask about 0% and no payments for 90 days on other Jeep models. It's time to say goodbye. Adios, 2020s from Allen Samuels.
Ask for details. All offers with approved credit.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day, payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. The Sikkim 365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Last year, Bosqueville went 5-6. They've had 12 years under Clint Zander. They've made the playoffs every year. One year went 4 rounds deep. I think it was his second year at Bosqueville. They were 5-6. Last year, 5-6. They lost to Crawford 32-7 in the postseason. But he's had a really good run there. I had a chance to visit with the head coach at Bosqueville following their back to resuming workouts today.
Coach Glenn Zander.
Bosqueville football coach Clint Zander with me on Sikkim 365 Radio. Back at it. What was it like just to see the kids again?
Oh, it's always exciting when you get to see the kids again. You know, we took off a week early just for precautionary reasons there before the 4th, and so we've been gone for, I guess, 2 weeks now, and just to get us to see them again and know that we're getting closer to hopefully starting up, that's definitely exciting.
When you got them back the first time after the long delay during most of the spring and school was shut down and all that, are they in better shape this time when they came back than the first time when they came back?
They seem to be. That first time, that first day kicked them pretty good. Today they seem to be doing a little better, so hopefully they didn't lose as much.
So what's the feeling right now with so much unknown? You and the staff, you got all this construction going on out here with your field house and concession and all the stuff going on. I mean, life goes on, but what's it like right now? What are your thoughts on where we are with this?
You know, we're approaching it with, we're preparing to start August 3rd, and you know, UIL continues to say that's the goal, and so that's what we're preparing for, trying to get our kids in the best shape we can before that date. And, you know, if things change, then we'll adjust on the run like we did in the spring and do our best to do what we can to meet those guidelines and you know, just you have to prepare like you're going to start on time, otherwise you'll be behind.
Yeah. And now this time the protocol, you guys got to do a little bit more, can do a little bit more based on what the UIL said this time around. Were you able to take advantage of that today, or is that something you work into?
We didn't today because my offensive coordinator is actually out of town today, but tomorrow we'll probably throw routes and have some defense out there and see how that goes. I know our volleyball girls were using that to their advantage with some scrimmaging type scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that just fun to be able to do that again?
It is. You know, I was up here this weekend doing some work, and we hosted a 8U coach pitch softball tournament over there, and I caught myself watching that for 10, 20 minutes just because I missed it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think when we get to start back up, there's going to be a lot of excited people.
Clint, this team has been really successful under you. You had, 12 years here at Bosqueville. Last year was the second time you made the playoffs every year, but last year 5 and 6, it just never kind of got off the ground for you. What did you learn last year? And obviously you have a bunch of players coming back, nearly 17 starters.
Yes, sir. I learned we were really young, and you know, they say you lose a game for every freshman that you start. Well, we beat that scenario because I think we started about 7 freshmen at some point through the year. And, you know, they're a good class, but they're freshmen. And so we're hoping with those 11 games experience they got last year that we'll be a lot better. We've got a really good senior class this year, and so we're hoping for big things.
Clint Zander, the head football coach at Bosqueville with me on Sikkim 365 Radio. Are you actually getting in more workouts this way with the way things were shut down? Are you getting in more work with your players during the summer than you normally would, or is this about what you do anyway?
We're definitely getting more sports-specific stuff.
Right.
You know, as far as the weights go, it's about the same. We actually probably lost a week there when we shut down, but, you know, we can hopefully gain that back up. But to me, the sports-specific stuff, you get an hour a day for your quarterback to be able to throw or your defense to be able to line up and be able to teach some linemen some things. And, you know, as we move closer in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we can get our linemen up here and watch some film and learn some things that way. So that'll be really beneficial to start. Hopefully we'll be ahead of the game.
And that's what 5As and 6As, they kind of have had that spring drill. Well, they have. Not kind of, they have. But, and it was like this year, they're like, whoa. And it's like with normal. But that's kind of what you're experiencing out of it.
No doubt. And, you know, we're used to it. We hit the ground running the first Monday in August,
mm-hmm.
and those guys are used to some more implementation during the spring and kind of having their, you know, depth charts temporarily set, or, you know, I would assume. So I would think that they may be a little more stressed than we are these days.
You have been in this business a long, long time. I know that it's about the health of whatever the unknown is or whatever the truth is about COVID and what we have to be careful of. But what would you do to sell the importance of games or kids or getting back to normalcy?
You know, I think it's something the kids need. You know, we've got a lot of kids, not just here, but across the state of Texas, that the only reason they show up to school and try to learn is because of athletics. And you're going to lose those kids if they don't get to participate. And, you know, I know that obviously there's places worse off than we are for that scenario where kids don't have that at-home people pushing them, and they come to school so they can go line up on Friday nights or hit a volleyball on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you're going to be losing a lot of kids if that doesn't happen. Not to mention the opportunity to them to earn a chance to play at the next level. A lot of those seniors in the spring missed that opportunity and didn't get that last look, and they may have missed out on a college opportunity, and hopefully kids this year won't. And because that's the ultimate goal, is to get them graduated and get them to school, and if some sports can help pay for that, then that's what we need.
Clint Zander, head football coach at Bosqueville on Sikkim 365 Radio. All right, when we come back, 5:41, we will wrap up the day, kind of look back at some of the bigger stories today from the SEC commissioner and what he's saying. And you know what? Hey, let's wait another couple of weeks to get to the end of July, and you still have plenty of time to react one way or the other among some things with the Redskins and more. The name change, Sikkim 365 Radio. How often have you said it's time to get in shape every day, every week, every month, maybe for as long as you can remember? How about starting today? I promise if you'll just join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness now, you'll thank me later. Hi, this is David Smoke, offering a variety of 40 group exercise classes every single week, including boot camp on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:15, plus spin, body shaping, Pilates, yoga, and bar. And there's a free kids club as well. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday, 5 to 10, Friday, 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 to 7, and personal trainers, Christy London and Randall Corley. World-class tennis facility with pros Britt Coleman and Joe Rosa with lessons, camps, and special events. Spacious and clean workout rooms, locker room for men and women, both with a whirlpool and sauna, and now there's touchless bottle filling stations. No intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an entirely new atmosphere, and yes, you can do this, but you have to walk through the front door. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
This is Sikkim 365 Radio. Sikkim 365 Radio is presented by idealmri.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. Idealmri.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
All right, so a couple other notes. Let's see here. ACC postponed their virtual media days. was scheduled to be early next week. The Big 12 is supposed to be Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll have Dave Aranda scheduled for early. I think it's next Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Then they're expected to start workouts on the 23rd. Is that right, Craig?
I don't even recall
the actual coaches having time with players. So now, not only have media days gone to virtual, and now even the virtual have been delayed. So on the Rangers Washington Post article, right, we've discussed this probably more than we needed to, but here's just a few of the reactions on the Redskins name change, or the Redskins being retired. So the last time the Cowboys beat the Redskins was 47-16. They've dominated that series. Opinion: Rangers team name must go. Members of the Rangers force were violent agents of white supremacy. That's the Washington Post. So here's the responses. How about we just settle on one name for every team, with the only distinction being the city? The Kansas City Cloud. The San Francisco Cloud. I kind of like that name. The Buccaneers did some bad stuff too. How about the Saints or the Catholics?
Oh, all that has to go if we're actually doing this for the right reasons.
Pirates weren't good either. Buccaneers, Raiders.
See ya, all of you.
The Washington Nationalist. Hey, the Yankees used is a derogatory term for Americans in some places. Oh, jeez.
I mean, if you really wanted to do this and point out the absurdity of the kind of selective nature of what people are now going after, now that an obvious like the Redskins is out of the way and you would think the Indians is up next, then, yeah, you got to keep searching to, make this change. I don't know that changing the Rangers name really affects anything. Matter of fact, I know that it doesn't. And I know that if you are somehow offended by the name Rangers, then you're just looking to be offended. And that is what a lot of people are basically doing every day, is just looking for a reason to be offended by something. We have turned into a country of just where it's all about feelings. And the thing about feelings and emotions is they change all the time.
Fleeting.
They're fleeting. They're not always accurate either. So if we continue to just make emotional decisions about everything, then just get ready, because we're riding that wave, and nothing is off limits, basically. So, yeah, let's change the Rangers. Let's change the Buccaneers, the Pirates, the
49ers,
Saints,
named after predominantly white criminals.
See ya.
Who
You're
stripped
done.
the environment for wealth and didn't share it, adding to income inequality. By the way, this is from...
and I've long heard about people, talking about the racism of the 49ers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Chairman of the House Natural Resources Committee Rep Raul Gravalia, who controls the land, the RFK Stadium, to Alan Lepore of the Washington NFL site on Sports Illustrated on the Redskins possibly moving and building a new stadium on his site. It's hard to want to help an owner who had to be dragged kicking and screaming into dropping his plainly racist branding.
Okay. I mean, again,
I wish that I had time.
A lot of people
to
not
go
saying really
listen
anything.
And go find every single thing, anyone who ever knew Raul as he was growing up, on anything he may have done, but I don't have time. I have more important things to do.
We know that Daniel Snyder is not a peach, okay? But he's the owner of the team. He's finally done it, and he's finally done something you wanted him to do. So that's also the problem with this, is that when somebody finally acquiesces and agrees to do the thing that they should do or that you wanted them to do, you still don't think that they've been dragged enough.
Right.
That like they it's not enough.
Nothing's good enough.
But you got what you like. You can't keep, like, once you get what you want, like, move to the next step. Okay, how do we make this better?
That's the thing. And look, it's taken me a while to come around to this, but like seeing like that Rangers article today from some random Washington Post author who's, I guess the sites are now on to the next thing. It's just take down, take down, take down, take down. Look, and I'm not arguing that there aren't certain things that needed to be taken down, but this is just getting to be absurd. It's absurd. The changes of the University of Texas, very valid. The concerns the athletes had, absolutely. They've got a legitimate standpoint of where they're coming from. And Texas looked at it and they said, okay, somehow the eyes of Texas snuck through, but whatever. But Yeah, so get rid of Redskins, get rid of Indians, and then now it's on to the Rangers, and then next it's going to be the 49ers, and then, if we want to do this, we can do this all day long until we just cancel everything and learn absolutely nothing from it. We don't change as a society because a sports team name is all of a sudden different. Your life isn't better because a sports team name is all of a sudden different. Now, if you're a Native American, you were offended by Redskins, understandable. If you're a 35-year-old Cal Berkeley grad living in California, what is your issue with it other than just saying, hey, that's wrong? It's not hurting you in any way. But there's just a lot of people out there that want to change just to change, and there's no end in sight to it.
No, there's a lot of people out there who want to just find something to be
bitch about,
complain and complain. Yeah, exactly. I said this. You're just going to go right down the checklist.
I just thought it was so absurd, but then I saw the Rangers piece today, and another issue is that, and I'm not going to read that article. I'm not going to give it the click, but I highly doubt there are too many of the pointing out of the positives of the Rangers connotation, but a whole lot of pointing out of the negatives that happened back in the 17 and 1800s. So what's more, important to right now? Guys who couldn't name you a single Texas Ranger in history. You know what I'm saying? Other than the baseball players. But, somehow an 18-year-old in today's society who lives in, Tennessee, get rid of the Texas Ranger. It's feelings. It's feelings and just decisions based on feelings and decisions based on people actually just being miserable themselves and wanting other people to be miserable. There are valid causes. There's a lot of not very valid causes that people are now championing because, hey, we got to...
Hey, changing a sports team name is easy to complain about.
Yeah.
Changing the rules for, the prison system in this country, all these other things that you need to, that's hard, and it's hard to wrap your head around. But if I can grab the low-hanging fruit, then that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, that one, that's easy.
All right, yeah, I know.
And that's where it is.
So I just got a tweet asking me about the Ole Miss Baylor game. I'll go back over that again. I did speak to Mac Rhodes. What was it? Saturday, early Saturday, yeah. And or early, may have been Saturday morning, I can't remember, but there was a person who's an Ole Miss fan that put out a note that ADs at Baylor and at Ole Miss had agreed to cancel the game. That's not true. They have not even discussed canceling the game. And I have not talked to the Ole Miss AD. I have not. I have spoken with Mac Rhodes. I'll share part of this with you.
Well,
if
I'll tell
Ole
you
Miss
this.
and Baylor...
I don't think that guy talked to the Ole Miss AD either.
No, unless he knows a buddy or plays golf with his son or something like that. And I'm not trying to be flippant about the guy. I'm just saying that Baylor's and Ole Miss's ADs have spoken one time and about the game, and what they've discussed is how are they going to find a way, based on if the game is played in Houston, to have the spacing and the number of fans, how they split it up, how that also affects the revenue because there will be less fans. And the other part of it is at some point there will be discussion on whether they just move the game to Oxford or they move the game to Waco. And a home and home for what is a second game that's not even scheduled, but at least that would be on their campus. As far as if the SEC, Greg say, okay, the game was canceled, right? The SEC says now we're going to wait till the end of July. The Big 12 might react before then. That might cancel it in itself. But the two teams are not trying to cancel this game. They don't want to cancel. And then anyone that reacts, well, why not? They're just, no, because right now they don't feel like they have to do that, even though the game is the first Sunday in September. So the game, as of right now, as it was Friday night, despite someone saying that they had agreed to cancel it, is on. It could change in 2 hours. But there has been no discussion between Ole Miss and Baylor about canceling the game. That might be taken care of by what the conferences do. And the other option of the game not being played is if there's just no college football at all.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I don't think that...
It's like me predicting whether Trump or Biden win in November. Mm-hmm. Trump's going to win in November. Biden's going to win in November. That's an opinion, but I'm not stating it as a fact. And so if the guy that I think may wins, I told you. Yeah. That's not... See, that's kind of that's just lay. It's a little bit weak, a little bit sloppy, and that's fine. All right, tomorrow, I don't know how we're going to line all this up, and I don't know what happened with Robert First time in, 10 years I've been working in this market that he's not been on time or available for an interview, so I'll figure out what happened with that. That's fine. We apologize for not having him on. Tomorrow, Earl Campbell, Graham Harrell, Phil Steele. We believe John McClain. No Mac Rhodes tomorrow. Dan Lust, the sports attorney, on many things from the trademark of teams and mascots and other sports issues. David Hellman, among a couple of others, and who knows, maybe even Robert Griffin III. Thursday, Michael Johnson.
Be great.
World record holder for many years. Olympic champion, Baylor.
I wish there was
businessman extraordinaire.
I wish there was a virtual reality experience. I mean, because people, you can put me in a race car and I can feel how fast it feels to go in a race car or a jet or something like that. But I would like to know how it feels to run fast like he does. Does it feel different than when I'm running? Because it has to.
Yeah. Put a GoPro around somebody's head like an Usain Bolt.
Like how do I have that feeling of like the air going past me for the 25 seconds? How long is it? 200? What's the record on the 200? 25 seconds is
19, 20 seconds,
19,
something
20
like that.
For that 20 seconds of like, I want to know what it feels like to be Usain Bolt.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
What would you rather be able to do one time? Run 200 meters in 1919 as he did in 2009.
Yeah.
Or dunk. Dunk without help. Dunk without a trampoline. Dunk. Like, you go up on a 10-foot rim and dunk.
For sure.
Yeah. Dunk, I guess. I don't know. I would like to speed. That's kind of like asking, I don't know. That's two things I'll never do, so.
Well, being an old man now, I'm much more likely to be in a situation where dunking would benefit me versus being able to run a really quick 200 meters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I would go with dunking there.
I don't know. It depends. If a zombie apocalypse happens, I'll change my answer.
True.
But I do.
Well, go check out Portland. It kind of is.
Yeah.
Dunking the ball, like, there's some that make it so effortless. There's guys that have to go up and, especially because of height, or they still have the 44, 45-inch vertical leap, whatever. But dunking the ball seems to be such an effortless thing for so many.
Yeah.
Running fast that's just got to be that. Again, it's kind of the symbol. It's just one of those things But Usain Bolt had the 19.19 at the 2009 World Championships, and also then broke the world record in the Olympic Games, I believe, as well. Man, Michael Johnson's record was 19.3. Remember, he finished and he looked back and he saw that on the ground, the time